Culture.
Where's that monkey?
Oh, that beat knocks, son.
Ooh, yeah. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Culture Trail Running Podcast. I'm your host, Art Byram, and I am joined today by two members of the Culture Crew. I have Jimmy Mack.
What up, fam?
And I have Fred Marolo.
I'm here.
All
I almost
right.
said my wife, but I'm here.
Yeah, very good. So the Culture Trail Running Podcast is a place where we can get together and discuss all the fun shit that happens on the trails that most normal people don't care about. And we're weekly podcasting. We're having a lot of fun. So if this is your first time here, do not listen to this with your kids because the language we use is explicit and raw, like the trails we run on. Okay.
Or like my twig and berries after today's run. So, you know.
Ooh, you're down on the water, huh?
Yeah, explicit and raw.
Yeah. Northern Atlantic in the winter. Fred,
in the winter.
Tougher than the whole fucking lot of us.
Oh my God. So listen, guys, I got some good news and I got some bad news.
Oof.
Okay. Remember all that we have a great following of Patreons here, right? I mean, every week we read all our Patreons and we have a lot of fun with them.
Literally several people.
Names.
Yes.
Yeah, literally.
Yep.
That's right. Well, good news and bad news. All that money.
Tens of people.
That's right. Usually, I don't know. Usually it takes about an hour to get through their names and stuff.
That's my fault.
So, yeah. Okay.
Give credit where credit's due.
Good news and bad news. All that money that, the good news is we're going to have a hell of a show here. A hell of a New Year's show tonight for Culture Trail Running Podcast. Bad news is we don't have any Patreon money left because I paid other people to do it. I paid this, I don't know, there's this events guy. I think it's called, it's like he started out by I think the guy collects sneakers because every time I see him, he's got a bunch of sneakers behind him. It's like the trail collectors or something. Yeah. So I guess he goes out on the trails and picks up all these sneakers.
Wait a minute. I thought the trail collectors was a nickname for Ben Nephew's FKTs. Right? Yeah. No?
Yeah. That could be.
I like Wall of Sneaker Guy.
Wall of Sneaker Guy. I like that. That's a good name.
Wall of Sneaker Guy. Golden.
Are you listening?
Golden
yeah,
man.
Ian Golden.
That works.
Yeah. So I've basically turned tonight's show over, so you guys get the night off tonight. All our Patreon money's gone, but we get to go out and enjoy New Year's. In the meantime, we're going to listen to other people talk about trail running all night.
Ooh.
Does that sound like a plan?
There he is.
Oh my God, he's there.
With the wall of sneakers.
It is. He's got all the sneakers there.
Beautiful.
But,
don't mind me as I weigh in on my mobile phone here since I can't access my computer or find a mic, and you're probably getting wicked echo. But hey, I'm trying on my end. I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute.
You know what? It's kind of awesome. The echo. It's really good.
I thought that was one of those downloadable backdrops. I didn't know that was real. Mind you.
That is something.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
It's real. It's 3D anyway. Yeah.
That's great. Oh my God. So interesting thing. So we got a lot of people coming on tonight for Cultra that are going to come in and run our podcast for us, which is going to be pretty awesome. And to start with, now, some of these guys I know better than others. So we're going to go and check it out. Now, the first guy that we got, they're going to go and talk about the best of 21. And the first guy up is this guy, Jay Friedman. From what I understand, he has the record for most rattlesnakes killed during the Eastern States 100. Is that right?
Possible.
You think that could happen?
He can't confirm or deny.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that should be interesting to hear from him. Phil Vondra. Phil Vondra. That sounds something like he might be related to a Myosaurus.
He sounds fast.
Phil Vondra. Don't take Phil Vondra if you're
if you're allergic to Phil Vondra, don't take Phil Vondra.
That's right. Don't take it.
Yeah. It could cause swelling. Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna raise your drugs, and he sounds like an F1 driver. He just sounds like an F1.
Ooh, Phil
he could be. Yeah. He's going to try to beat Fred Marolo's record for Vol State, which stands at 1 right now. So he's going for 2 from what I understand. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah. He double me just like that.
The next person up we have is somebody that all of our regular culture listeners know, and most of the people in America who follow the sports world and follow the Olympics know, she actually is now a feline agility champion. In the Olympics, she has a new, she's just gotten in to the Olympics for the feline agility. That's Ellie Pell. So it's the newest thing since the equestrian events were really the only event where they had animals. Now they have this feline agility stuff. So she's going to be working the laser pointer and hoping that works out for her for gold. So we'll see how that works. Then they're also going to have Ben Nephew on. So from what I understand, he's going to give some kind of a dissertation on the social habits of rats and running. So I don't know. Might have some.
I heard he fluffs the rats, right? He's a rat fluffer.
Could be. Yeah. Lots of stuff happens like that.
We've been told. Yeah.
Good. And so then at 7:40, I mean, all of us, any good old, you're not really an ultra runner unless you've run into marital problems because of your running. So we're going to have the ultra couple quiz show, and that's going to be put on by the Egans. And they have the same last name, right? So it's Eric and Sheila Egan are going to do that. So that should be pretty awesome. Now, Jimmy, do you know some of the couples that are going to be playing along there?
A few of these names look familiar.
Mm-hmm. Rachel Spalding, she was in I thought she was like a professional baseball player in college for the softball team.
What?
I think so. I don't know. Could be wrong.
I just want to say Logan Lemke like over and over because it just rolls off the tongue. I like people with the alliterative names. It's just wonderful.
Yeah. And then we have the Cossacks, right? I understand Eric and Becky.
Perennial World's End finishers, and they're all in that scene up there.
Gotcha.
A fast couple, I should say.
Yeah. Well, that certainly helps, right? Then we have the Foxes. We have
what does the Fox say?
Going to be joined. The Foxes probably going to be talking about their birth control devices or something. I don't know. Probably went over half the head. You have ask an old guy; they'll tell you all about that joke. Okay. Jimmy's got no idea. Fred's laughing.
Yeah, so you're bringing the boomer energy tonight. I appreciate it.
Bringing the boomer energy.
Somebody's got it. Then also Jamie and Lorna Pace. I think they mispronounced their name as Pekka, but I think it's actually Pace. Probably good runners with that. So after that, at 8:10, there's something called Stump the RDs.
Stump the coaches, it looks like. There.
Yeah, well, no, I see Stump the RDs first.
Oh, do I have an old one maybe?
Oh, maybe I
No, that's the next one is Stump the Coaches. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think something's wrong with your internet machine there, Art.
Is it?
No, yeah. Art's got it. Stump the RDs first, then Stump the Coaches.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's backwards here.
Horton, Huber, Levinsky, and Ian Golden. I've heard of that guy. Yeah.
So
yeah.
The hell am I looking at?
Kim Levinsky has a challenge, and that's to get some of her interview subjects to stop talking. I hear that's just a rumor. Just a rumor.
That could be, Fred. What do you mean by that? I mean,
well,
I wouldn't know anything about that.
You wouldn't know.
Listen,
but
guys, Kim said hi to us in the chat here, so we've been straight up ignoring her. So let's keep doing that.
Well, she knows what She knows.
I'm playing.
She's talking to
I'm
me.
playing. Kim, we love you. We absolutely love you. We adore you.
I know. She was nice enough to have me on her show. She said, "How you doing, Art?" And then it was like an hour and a half later, and I came up for air. It was really, I was paddling the douche canoe pretty hard that day. So lots of fun. Kim
the
was
river
great.
Was angry that day, my friend.
The river was angry.
It was. Then let's see. At 8:40, they're going to have Stump the Coaches, where they're going to answer all the tough questions. Like you can ask them questions like, if you want to stump the coaches, you can ask them things like what are running shoes?
Things like that. That'll work.
You know, that
what's
or,
aerobic activity?
Yeah. What's the best pizza topping for a 5K? You know, those are all the.
What kind of vest should I wear in my 5K?
That's a good one. Yeah. Lots of good stuff.
We're running out of time, guys.
I know. We are. We're getting through it there, Fred.
Okay.
Let's see. So that's going to be then. Let's see. After that, there's Lipsy Logic, right? What's that all about, Jim?
That's the very funny and talented runner Matt Lipsy is going to probably just talk mad shit, and I bet it's going to be hilarious. It's probably going to be the segment of the night. I don't know. I'm just going to call it now. I mean, I like saying controversial things, so let's start shit with all the other people on the show, right?
Well, hey, they got Big Pappy there, so
Yeah.
Mike
Yeah, look at
Ortiz,
that.
so-
I hear he's a hell of a runner.
he is. He
Don't
is.
get in his way, though. Do not get in his way.
Absolutely. Yep. Then at the end, I guess they're going to wrap it up with Michael Dubova. And Rachel Spaulding will be, I guess she's coming back again, right?
Why wouldn't you
I
have
loved her
Rachel back
baseball
again?
gloves.
She's incredible.
She's incredible. See?
She
Yeah,
was a
there you
baseball
go.
player. We do have a nice echo there.
I'm getting there.
Holly Ann Swann and Gene Dykes will be there. So sounds like it's Patreon money well spent on our part for a good show.
This looks like an awesome show, you guys.
Yeah,
it does.
Way to go, Ian. Way to put it together. Wait a minute. Was that serious? I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry.
It was.
Sorry,
Fred.
everyone.
What's up with that?
Yeah, I know. I got out of character for a minute.
Hey, Ian, you all
right.
how's everything going there? You feeling good?
Oh no, if my computer would allow me to access, that would be great. I'm still figuring things out here, so I'll probably be on mute the whole time. I'm assuming everybody else has a wicked echo coming out of my end here.
We do.
Yeah, good one. It's a good one.
It's a good one, though. It sounds like very
It
theatrical.
sounds almost intentionally.
You're like, listen, I am God of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's right. Can
I
you
am
say
Ian,
now
Ian,
batting
Ian.
Jesse Canfield?
It's good that I will talk tonight.
Yeah. Beautiful.
That's good.
All right, but as I continue to figure that out, I'm gonna bring on the next crew that is waiting, and usher them in. Culture crew and my echo. Thank you so much for bringing us in as I'm continuing to try to figure out this on my back end.
Awesome.
Speaking
of my
back end.
I appreciate it. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah. You guys are awesome.
See you guys.
See ya.
See you in a mile and a half.
Oh shit, there he is.
Good evening, gentlemen.
What's up? What's up?
Howdy, everyone.
Okay, I feel like I have an echo too now, Ian. Is that right?
Maybe. Bear with me here. I'm trying.
Yeah, you can definitely echo there.
Every time is like the first time. We know that.
Every time is a new experiment. Welcome to the Trails Collective live New Year's Eve bash. This is awesome, and you're about to enter the Pain Cave section of the program. We're super psyched to be here.
He's involved in filming like Blair Witch Project 3. It's a New Year's Eve segment, not a Halloween one, Ben.
Seriously, Ben, that is creepy.
I know.
No, it looks good. It looks good. I like it.
So welcome. My name is Jay Friedman. I am the host of the Pain Cave. Joining me, as always, my co-host, my partner in crime, the Fulham Flyer, the Shawangunk Express, the Ian Sharman to my Ian Golden. It's Phil Vondra. Phil, how are you doing?
Great to be here. I'm super excited for a New Year's Eve special. I don't get to see you enough these days, so it's nice. See, Ellie's arrived.
Phil, we're super psyched to be here, and we are super psyched to have two awesome Pain Cave guests joining us. I think that maybe the highlight of their respective careers was their appearances on the Pain Cave, right? We have trail and ultra stud and road stud Ben Nephew, king of the FKT, and we have Olympic Trials qualifier and perhaps I don't know what she's pointing at there, but I don't know, next year's breakout ultra star and the inaugural 20 questions guest in the Pain Cave, Ellie Powell. What's going on, you guys?
I was going to mention I was the first 20 questions guest.
First 20 questions guest. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
This is my application to be a co-host on the show, so hope I don't screw it up.
Well, if Phil keeps drinking seltzer on the show, then that application might have to be filled. Oh, he has no comment on that one.
No, it's just in racing season. I take shits very seriously.
Wow.
Yeah, as we know.
I try and stay tight. But as it's New Year's Eve, I have a beer.
Okay, good. So, well, we only have about 25 minutes or so to get through the top ultra runners and ultra running performances and FKTs in the Northeast trail scene this year. But before we do have to say, what are we drinking tonight, Phil?
Tonight I'm drinking an old favorite. It's from a very, very fine Northeast brewery called Jackie O's in Ohio. And the beer is a Chomalungma. It's a nut brown ale with wildflower honey from Ohio. And it was brewed to celebrate our friend Brian climbing Mount Everest in 2007, which he did for a charity called Longevity. It's a great beer and a great achievement scaling Mount Everest in the style that he did. So cheers.
Awesome. Already Phil breaking the rules because Ohio is not in our geographic distribution, but that's okay. I'm going to go with the Northeast beer as well. Phil, industrial arts. I got a metric.
It's all right. That's where Arlen Glick is from.
He'd already told me that Ohio wasn't considered part of the Northeast. That's why I had to drink one of these beers and say that.
So yeah, Phil, we had two of the top three in our voting and for Ultra Runner of the Year this year from Ohio, just outside of our geographic list. I'm drinking a metric industrial arts. Ellie, what do you got?
So I was all excited, and about 30 seconds ago, I realized that the beer that I got just for this show is still in my car. So I'm going to be periodically dehydrating myself through this 30 minutes.
All right, fair.
That's about how with it I am, but you know.
Ben, what are you drinking? You have a nice glass of Chianti?
Thank you. Like not all ultra runner trail runners drink beer. I have an Indian Wells Merlot from Columbia Valley in Washington, far outside our region.
Lovely.
Sounds amazing.
Red wine in the Northeast is it's getting better, but it's tough. Actually, Finger Lake.
4 to 5 weeks the canter, and it should be perfect.
Lemuel Landing actually.
That is.
Makes phenomenal reds, and I can actually buy them about 2 miles from my house, which is really cool. So
Finger Lakes, you want to go whites though, right? Like
right. Historically, yeah. I mean, as with global warming, it's becoming more friendly to reds as well. But yes, they make very good whites.
In about 10 years, Finger Lakes will be known for the pineapples and coconuts.
Question: as you start to like drink beer more often, like you guys can be like, I got this, and then explain the history, like who made it, like what child tears were sacrificed into the vat as it's brewing. Like you guys know this. Like when I just pick it up, I'm like, oh, it looks like beer, so down the hatch. Like I mean, is this something that as I just need to like reach a threshold and then I'll just know the history of each drink that I take?
I think the fact is that we're sad enough that we've stared at beer cans lonely and longingly into the night, realizing while we're pissing our lives away. But
it's it's when you go for like
cheers.
All right.
Yeah.
We're blowing through our time here, and we got about 20 some minutes left to do a whole bunch of stuff. And we're sorry that the great Andy Jones Wilkins could not join us. He was scheduled to come on with us as well. But in some ways, it's good because I think 5 of us
is enough.
Of the year, trail runners of the year and performances of the year and FKTs of the year would have gone well above our allotted time. So we're going to get right into it here. Ellie, I'm going to defer to you and say we're going to start with the top 5 women of the year. And so what we're going to talk about is first, the top 5, as we said, women trail runners of the Northeast for 2021. And this can encompass performances both in and out of the Northeast region, but, from folks who are based in the Northeast. And that's defined as Virginia North and Pennsylvania and East, I guess. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we're looking pretty much only at trail performances, unless you have some other outstanding performances to shout out. And so we'll do our top 5 years, top 5 athletes of the year, and then top 5 performances of the year. And then we'll get a little bit into the FKTs.
If he doesn't,
Ellie, do you want to start us off?
The top 3.
Sure.
You want to do 3?
Well, if you don't stop talking, we're only going to have time for the top three. So let's move
Okay,
it
fine.
on.
Fine. I feel I need to go through the rules with you every time, Phil, just because, generally if I don't spell them out explicitly, we run into some sort of trouble down the road. Usually not very far down the road. So I just want to be upfront. I want to make sure that you know what we're doing here.
I know absolutely what we're doing, but it's fruitless. Anyway, let's move on.
All right.
So
So
if we're doing women,
by the rules, I'd make you happy. It just, it just doesn't work like that. I'm afraid.
I'm a rule follower. And so we're gonna go our top 5 women of the year. We're gonna go from 5 to 1 because we're gonna build suspense. That's what we're all about. Ellie, why don't you start us off? Who is your number 5 women's Northeastern trail runner of the year?
all right, so for number 5, I have Sarah Beale. So just recame into everybody's consciousness by taking second at the JFK 50 miler just a month or so ago. She also has a win at the Promised Land 50K in Virginia, and just edging out Rachel Spalding, and then 4th at the Silver Rush 50 in Leadville. So she's my number 5 pick. Very promising future for Sarah.
Can I be heard? Is my volume work?
Yeah, we hear you.
I'm going to have to call it technicality. Sarah's from Ohio.
Oh man.
Wah, wah. Did you have one snub that you want to bring on?
Sure. My one. It's another Sarah. I'll give the second one to Sarah. I'll say Sarah Kais, number 5, just taking 12th at Western States and second at Black Canyon last year. She's been doing a little bit of injury in the second half of the year, but those are 2 solid results for Sarah. So I'm hoping a speedy recovery for her and her boyfriend pretty soon too.
Sarah 3rd at Black Canyon, I believe, but 12th at Western States. Two definitely national class results for Sarah, who does reside within the defined region. So thanks for playing. I had Sarah
rule follower.
I had Sarah as I really couldn't decide for 5th, so I was going to kind of leave it up to the group as to where I went with my 5th place vote. But she was one of the 2. Phil, who did you have in 5th?
5th place, I had Kerr Davis. She won the Twisted Branch 100K. She won the Riverlands 100 mile, and she was 2nd place at the incredibly hard 50 miler known as Manitou's Revenge. I think that's a pretty solid year. Some tough Northeast trails there as well, possibly the toughest trail in the Northeast. So I think it's good.
Yeah, and a very close second there to Veronica Leeds. Also had a 7th place finish at the Cayuga Trails 50, among a few other results as well. Another solid season for Kerr Davis from Massachusetts. I was deciding between Sarah Kais and Eliza LaPierre, the stalwart from Vermont, another great friend of our pod. Eliza had a really solid year with a win at UROC, a win at Infinitus in the 88K. She was 4th at the Catamount Trail and 7th at the Leadville Trail 100. So her top result, I don't know if it kind of stacked up with Sarah's top result necessarily, but she did have a little bit of a deeper resume maybe, or just a little bit, a couple more races and a couple of wins in there, which Sarah was unable to register a win. So I wasn't quite sure which way to go. Ellie, if you're going to give Sarah number 5, maybe I'll give it to Eliza in the interest of, let's say, equality. How's that? Let's move on. Number 4, Phil, who is your number 4 Northeast Women's Trail Runner of the Year?
Number 4 for me was...
I'm sorry. We forgot about Ben. Ben, do you have your top 5s?
No.
You're going to join us for the FPTs?
To you guys, I have not been following closely enough, so this is educational.
All right, jump in when you have to correct us on something, because I'm sure we're going to make plenty of mistakes. Phil, who's your number 4?
We never make mistakes.
We never admit to mistakes, at least.
Is my number 4.
I'm sorry, who did you say?
Sarah Vibert. She won the Cruel Jewel.
Sheila Vibert, yep.
Which is possibly the toughest 100 miler in the country. And she won the Waterfall 50K and the Promised Land 50K.
She didn't win Promised Land. She was 10th at Promised Land, I have.
Correct. 10th at Promised Land.
As 2 solid wins at Waterfall and Cruel Jewel. Ian, are you going to take exception to Phil calling Cruel Jewel the toughest 100 mile in the country?
I mean, as much as this whole thing is relative, who's to say? I mean, if it was, I guess we'd have to have Blanford on here to comment on, the true, toughest. But we'll move on.
Okay, Ellie, who do you have?
I have Ann Swann. So she had a really great season this year, taking 1st at the Grayson Highlands 50K, the Kanawha Trails 50K, Wild Run 20 miler, and then she did the Rim to River 100, setting a course record there. So thought she had a really, really good season this year.
Nice. I had a little somebody named Ellie Pell as my number 4. Multiple wins across multiple distances, Lucer's Crossing, Tom B, course record at Many on the Jenny, course record at Virgil Crest, and the overall win in the 100K there, second overall at Many on the Jenny, and second at the Finger Lakes 50K, among many others, several other results this year. So a very, very solid year out of you, Ellie. Congratulations, and can't wait for Bandera.
Nice.
Thumbs up. Very good. Number 3, moving along. Phil, you're number 3.
Sarah Kais for me. 3rd at Canyon, 12th at Western States. I think we've been there already.
Yep. Great year. Ellie, who do you have at 3?
3, I have Riley Brady. So she has not lost a race this year. She's taken first at Naked Bavarian, Breakneck, Cayuga Trails 50, Finger Lakes 50s 50, and Virgil Crest 100 miler. Well, she was 3rd overall. So really solid season out of her. She's coming to Bandera with me as well. Really good season out of them. They're coming to Bandera with me as well. So I'm really excited to see what they can put together, and also signed up for Black Canyon. So they've got a pretty stout season that they just had, and pretty good going into 2021.
Maybe going golden ticket hunting, it sounds like. I had Riley at number 2 in my list. So
I have Riley at number 2 as well.
Okay, yeah. So obviously a great season. Number 3 for me was Nicole Yoakam from Vermont. First at Eastern States, first at Kilkenny Ridge, first at the Heiner 50K, which is getting more and more formidable in terms of the field strength to the point that I think it's starting to rival the 25K, although I'm not 100% sure on that. And first at World's End as well, an undefeated season out of her from what I can see.
Yeah, I have her as number 1, actually. I was blown away by her season, especially those races. And yeah.
So Nicole was your number 1. So who did you have as number 2? If Phil and I both had Riley at number 2.
Rachel Spalding with her
Rachel was my number 1
at Hellgate, second Promised Land, a couple other really good ones in there. And she's got a lot of promise coming. Also heading out to Black Canyon in February.
Yep. She was your number 1 as well, Phil?
She was my number 1. Yeah, Hellgate course record, Broken Arrow 10th, and Old Dominion 100. So
yep. So it sounds like our top 3 were all pretty much the same. Awesome. Yeah. Let's quickly do performances of the year for the women. We can go, I'd like to go 1 to 5 for these. Just it gets it a little bit easier that way, I feel like. I had Rachel's course record that we mentioned at Hellgate as the number 1 performance of the year for women. What did you guys have?
Yeah, that's what I had too.
All 3. Wow, unanimous. Okay. Number 2, Ellie, what'd you have?
I had Nicole's Eastern States. She finished 2nd overall, new course record. But really, it's hard for me to separate any of her results, but I picked Eastern States just because that's a really, really hard 100 miler. And she did it in the midst of winning and setting course records at a bunch of other tough races. So I had Eastern States for Nicole.
That was on my list as number 5. Phil, who was your number 2?
Number 2 was Riley Brady, the Virgil Crest 100. She was 3rd overall, winning and placing 3rd overall.
Nice. I had actually Sarah Kais's 3rd place finish at Black Canyon against a very strong field. That
was my third.
Yes.
I had her Western States at 3rd.
Yeah, her Western States 3rd. Very gutty performance from her there. I actually thought the Black Canyon result, as a result, I thought was actually more impressive even than the 12th at Western States. Number 3? Phil, you said you had Sarah number 3?
Yes.
What'd you have? Ellie, who'd you have number 3?
That was Sarah.
Oh, that was Sarah. Okay. Number 3, I took Amy Hamilton at Yeti with the overall win there in fairly dominant fashion. Not a course record.
That's my number 4.
That's your number 4.
I had her for number 5.
15-23 overall win.
Yeah, overall win, just dominated all day. I think I might be overrating it a little just because I had a front row seat, but it was pretty impressive. Yep, I guess we all had that in the top 5. Number 4, Ellie, I had you at Many on the Jenny, course record in the 2nd overall finish there. Phil, number 4. Oh, you said Amy. And Ellie, who was your number 4?
I had Holly Ann Swann for her Rinter River course record. I thought that was really, really impressive. I think by an hour. And after her buildup was like a 50K. So, I mean, that's pretty stout.
Yep. And fifth, I said I had Nicole at Eastern States, which we talked about. Somebody said that they had Amy. Ellie, you said you had Amy's Yeti in fifth.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil, your fifth place?
My fifth place was Riley Brady, second overall at Cayuga 50 miler.
Yeah, that came down to the wire with Nicole's Eastern States win for me. So there you have it for the women trail runners and performances of the year for the Northeast. Let's see what time we have. We are kind of on schedule almost. Let's move quickly to the men. Ellie, why don't you start us off again? Who do you have number 5 for the men's Northeast Trail Run of the Year?
So I have somebody that I wasn't expecting. This was somebody that I actually found today. So I have Justin Kowski as number 5. He has won or placed second in every ultra that he's done this year, and he's done a lot. Again, I didn't have time to look into like the competition level of them all, but knowing Justin and just seeing his results first at like doing 6 hour, 10 hour events, and then he also got second at Manitou's, which I thought was pretty good. So I had Justin for season of the year number 5.
So Justin I couldn't decide for fifth between him and Caleb Bowen, but yeah, had a great, and his second place finishes at Manitou's, like you said, at Trap Rock, both two very impressive performances from Dan Grip, who I wound up having a lot higher on the list. He also had a second place at the Backyard Squatch in New Jersey, which is, a last man backyard ultra. I'm not actually sure who he's second to, but 145 miles for a backyard. So that's over 36 hours. No, that's about 35 hours. So a really good performance there as well. I was debating between him and Caleb Bowen. Caleb, you mentioned Ellie, I think the win at Rim to River. He was also first at the Grayson Highlands 50K, second at Eastern Divide. And I think had another win in there as well. So that was a tough. Fourth. You had him fourth?
Yeah.
So yeah, I could go either way there. Phil, who'd you have fifth?
Fifth, I had Scott Treyer. He won the Henny Pin 100. Second at Umstead, and he ran 152 miles at Desert Solstice.
Yeah, I left Scott off only because, as we're focusing mostly on trail as opposed to necessarily just ultra, the Desert Solstice win or the Desert Solstice performance, technically not a trail, a track race. So if you take that out, yes, two great performances at Umstead and Hennepin. The Umstead second to the aforementioned Arlen Glick in a pretty fast time. But, without the Desert Solstice, I didn't think he quite had the season. If you count the Desert Solstice and we're looking at really just ultra runners at that point, then yeah, he's definitely on the list. I agree. Okay, cool. Number 4, Phil, who do you have?
Number 4, I've got Michael DeBova.
I had him third.
Record at Hellgate, Barclay Fall Classic, and second at Old Dominion. Good year.
Yep. Great year. Great performance at Hellgate. I had him third for the year. Ellie, who do you have him fourth?
Caleb.
Okay, right. You said that. Great. So I'll give my fourth then. I had Eric Lapuma from Vermont. He won the Vermont 50 mile, the Catamount 50K, was third at the JFK 50 in a very strong time, 5:39, just behind Zach Bevan, who had a great year. And 11th at Ragged, not his best performance, but still a good performance on a hot day against a solid field there. So I had him fourth for the year. All right, moving on. Third, I said for third, I have Michael DeBova. We mentioned him. Yes, we already talked about him. And did you guys give me third yet? No, you didn't. Go ahead. Ellie, why don't you give me your third?
I had Zach Bevan. He's etched a little bit into my heart, like because he also has Olympic trials qualifier. He also ran a really fast Olympic trials qualifying time at Houston. His strolling gym course record is incredible. Getting second at JFK, incredible. I can't wait to see more from him. And I mean, it would be. I like also that he kind of is still kind of doing more like not as technical gnarly ultras yet, which, speaks to my heart. So,
Zach wound up in the same boat for me as Scott. Whereas if you're thinking this is trail runner of the year rather than ultra runner of the year, then, he had two great ultras, but really only one half of a trail race. If you're saying JFK, Strolling Jim, which I had in my top 5 performances of the year for Ultra Runner of the Year, not a trail race. So if you wipe out Strolling Jim and you give him half credit for JFK, then it's just not much of a trail resume. Plus, he spent the first half of the year in Kentucky. So does he qualify geographically? We're going to leave him off for now.
I thought of it
We
as
are
like
an inclusive group.
yeah, I thought of it as like, you know, when Phil tried to draft Alafine Tuliamuk to his like ultra runner performance, and I was like, good idea.
You'll incur the wrath of Jay. It'll never end. I can handle it. I got it covered.
Okay. That was 3. Phil, who was your third?
Eric Lapuma.
You had Eric in number at third. Okay, great. All right, excellent. Moving along, number 2. Who do you guys have? Phil, who's your number 2?
But as we just discussed, him, Zach Bevan.
Oh wow. Okay.
I understand the trail difficulty though of the roads of Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't disagree. Look, those 2 performances were among again. Those are 2 of the best performances by a Northeast runner this year. You know, it's just I was trying to stick a little bit more closely to the trail criteria. So, Ellie, who was your number 2?
I had David Hedges for my number 2. He had a pretty good race at Ultra Trail Hurricane. I think that's how it's called. I think 1 breakneck. And then just recently he's had some pretty good just tune-up races around here. So I've heard a lot of number 1 David Hedges in the past couple months. And so he's coming to Bandera with us too. So it'll be good to see how he stacks up against the competition down there.
David was my number 1 for the men for the Northeast. Yeah, the win at Hurricane that's a solid race and part of the Ultra Trail World Circuit or whatever you call it. Also, the win at UROC this year, as you mentioned, some nice short tune-up race wins at some shorter distances recently. I'm psyched to see how he does at Bandera. Phil, who was your number 2?
Zach Bevan.
Oh, right, you just said that. I'm sorry. So my number 2, I had Dan Grip, who we mentioned briefly, who I wonder if is going to be Phil's number 1. He's not.
My number 1.
He's your number 1. Okay. Yeah. And I could have gone either way with him and David. You know, the UROC and the Hurricane are kind of top level wins for me. So that's why I had David edging him out, but you could certainly convince me to flip them around. Dan Grip, let me just run through his resume real quick and you guys can add in if I miss anything. The win at Manitou's, as Phil said, probably the hardest 50 mile in the country. The win at Cayuga Trails in fairly dominant fashion. Course record at the Trap Rock 50K. And that's beating, I believe, either a Brian Ruzecki or a Ben Nephew course record. So that you know that's legit. Second at Vertical Crest 100, second at the Cat's Tail Trail Marathon, and third in the 6 hours at the Reservoir.
It's a great year.
Pretty unassailable year right there.
I mean, probably the best of any Northeast trail runner.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue.
Full stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yep.
Anyway.
Really be exciting to see what he does in 2022. Let's quickly do performance of the year. Ellie, what's your number 1?
Zach at Strolling Jim or JFK.
That's not a trail race.
One as well.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'll switch. Michael Dubois by Hellgate.
That's mine too. Yeah. Yes. If we were going to count Strolling Jim, Zach would definitely be, I think, a unanimous number 1. He would certainly be mine. I had Michael as my number 1 because he actually did it in a trail race. So yes. Number 2, Phil, who'd you have?
Number 2, who the hell was number 2? Number 2 was Eric Lapuma, Vermont 50K.
50 mile.
Vermont 50K.
Okay. I think it was the 50 mile, but that's fine. Ellie, you had Michael as your number 2. Yeah. My number 2, I had Dan Grip at Manitou's for my number 2. Yes. Not a course record, but very, very close. Number 3, Ellie, who was your number 3?
David at Hurricane.
Yep, as me as well. Phil?
I had Steve Lang breaking the Cat's Tail course record, 4 hours 13. That was my number 5. Yeah.
Yep, I had him on there for sure. And Steve, I thought long and hard about putting in my top 5 of the year. With, as you said, the course record at Cat's Tail, second at the Breakneck Half Marathon, and at the Hinder 25K, and also won the 25K at Slate Run. So a great year from Steve. Ellie, who was your number 4? Are we up to?
Yeah, I had Caleb at Rim to River. He got the course record by an hour.
Yep.
So thought that was pretty good.
That's what I had number 4 as well. And number 5 for you guys?
Go ahead, Phil.
Well, I think I didn't have my number 4 yet, did I?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Number 4.
So that was David Hedges' Ultra Trail Hurricane.
Okay. So we're all bouncing around the same stuff. And then your number 5 was what?
My number 5 was Dan Grip at Manitous.
Okay. Yeah. So it's all the same order, or the same races in different order.
Yeah.
So
for my number 5, I had 2 that were course records, a little bit shorter and kind of a little bit less rugged. I had Tim Chichester at many, and then also Jared Burdick set the Water Gap 50K course record in a pretty fast, like around 3-hour time. So
yeah.
we got to give a little bit of, like, Tim was incredibly, like, he beat me by like almost an hour and I was second.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Awesome. We did it, guys.
Like first ultra too, so we'll see what he goes for.
Let's see if Ben is still there, or if Ian is still there. If they can bring Ben back in. There he is. Hey, Ben.
Oh yeah,
how's it going?
How many mistakes did we make? Did we do okay?
No, that was solid.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So you were talking about the course record at Trap Rock.
Yeah. Was that you or is that Brian?
No, Brian, because they changed the. I hadn't run it since they actually changed the course, so I actually just looked. I couldn't keep track of. It's been so long. But yeah, Brian had the course record before.
Right. Yeah. Ben, why don't you take us through a couple of notable FKTs this year?
Oh, so yeah, I almost missed the note that until recently that it was Northeastern. So because I got the ballot from Buzz for the nation as a whole.
Sure.
But yeah, so in terms of there was locally, there's a new FKT in the Long Trail. 12. So some Ben Feinstein in 4 days, 11 hours, 12 hours faster than Spring Bean.
Yeah, Spring Bean.
Yeah, he is a young dude still. But yeah, so 12 hours faster than his self-support in 2020. So that's pretty solid. So these are ones that made the list for the overall.
Mm-hmm.
His, and then there was 3 on there. Ryan Atkins for the Great Range Traverse, which took 3 minutes off Jack Kunzel's record. So that one is still, it's hard to kind of say this, but I think there's more time to be had in there, considering that Jack hasn't spent much time on that, and Ryan literally has a house in the Adirondacks and spends a ton of time there. So it's crazy. 4 hours and 42 minutes for.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, that's.
So I mean, yeah. So Jan Welford, established the first strong FKT on that in about 6.5 hours or something like that. So it's come down a long way, similar to all the Northeastern ones, but it's just kind of mind blowing to think where they've gone. And then, but in terms of an individual and their body of work this year, Jack Kunzley, he's gotten the Pemi Loop, Devil's Pass, Great Range. They then lost Prezi Traverse, and then the Hut Traverse, which is now under 10 hours, which is kind of wild because
I'm looking at the stats: 45 miles, 16,000 feet of climbing.
Yeah, I mean that I've been on that route, and it's just nasty. And it was over 11 hours not too long ago. So yeah, that's taking huge chunks of time off that. Yeah, so all 3 of those performances are really impressive, but Jack's had a pretty phenomenal year overall. I mean, it's really hard to, at this point, people are specializing on one route. Some of the recent records on the Prezi Traverse and the Great Range, people are literally spending, multiple days and weeks on the route. So to get all those in 1 year is pretty spectacular. So it'll be interesting to
piss
see.
tested, because I don't know if I believe this.
What?
Has he been piss tested? Like, I mean, FKTs. Like, there needs to be some regulation.
Yeah, and no, there's no. I mean, obviously, it's out of the loop in terms of these type of things.
He's got the carbon plated shoes on. I mean,
that's funny because we all went through the whole like minimalistic fad, and at least around here, I think there's something to be said for a lot of protection, but people are doing these in all sorts of shoes for sure. There's definitely still a lot of innovates, and what's the other UK brand that Ryan runs in?
I don't know.
It's the Phil running shoe from England.
VJ.
VJ.
I was good.
VJ.
No, he's got him
right there.
Mount from behind. Exactly.
Are those the new model?
Yeah, it's one of the newer ones.
Old model.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to work
go down to your left. The green. Is that a Scott? There you go.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Did I wear those at?
Yeah. Yep.
I did. Okay. Yeah.
You did.
I was almost regretting not wearing something spiked, but that's for another time. Those shoes have amazing traction. So, but yeah, Ian, any thoughts on other?
No, I mean, it would have been Jack for me too. I mean, that was absolutely incredible to have him come on the scene. And I think occupationally, he wasn't really able to before. Also, occupationally, he was able to spend some time on some of these routes and study them and kind of pre-run. But to your point, he doesn't live right next to it like Ryan does. But to come on the scene and literally take what were already incredible times up in these routes and lower them further, it's pretty mind-boggling. And the fact that I think he's still young and untested.
Right. I mean, so my kind of opinion on this, when I was running those routes, much slower, I realized that this was going to happen, that people were going to specialize on specific routes. And I was able to get most of these and to hold like several at the same time. And I was like, this is going to be really hard to do in the future. And I didn't think, because each of those had gotten much faster in a short period of time, thanks to the pandemic to some degree. So I thought like, oh, it's over. Like no one's going to be able to get all those at the same time. And I don't know if he was able actually to have them all at the same time, because Ryan, took the devil's path. But I mean, either way, he had them either at the same time or very close to all at the same time, which is pretty wild.
And Ben, real quick, women's FKT, are you looking? I mean, Michaela Olsen. I know Michaela Olsen set the long trail in Vermont unsupported. So that to me on quick glance was, I think, the one that stood out for me.
Yeah. No, I did see that. So that's super impressive. So the Prezi got broken, but it was just 2 minutes faster. Mm-hmm. I think, shockingly, even though that's at 4:33, which is a really fast time. I've never run 4:33. I think that, that may drop some more, but yeah, the long trail has seen a lot of good efforts in the last couple of years. So,
we'll see if there's, I think, a lag. I feel like some of the men's individuals who are out there setting these incredible FKTs are setting them on routes that have longer men's histories, I think, on these routes. And I think that women are just starting to get into it more. And I feel like some of the women who were the strongest, maybe ultra women in our region, were plugging into more formal events, where some of the guys who were setting them were more kind of FKT focused and not necessarily event focused. And so maybe there'll be a lag, and there'll be like,
no, it's funny to see like the overall national list, and that it's really hard. I mean, if you're going to rank and compare things, you really need some sort of history there. Otherwise, it's hard to.
Yeah, without the context, it's almost
right. It's hard. Yeah. You have no context. So, looking at the list, in the U.S. as a whole, it's like a mishmash of like very young FKTs, Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time comparing FKTs if they have varying histories for sure.
Right. Especially for a lot of these first roots and stuff like that. It's just hard to know.
Right. And then the super long things, it's you don't want to have a bias against them, but at the same time, if they're these super long things that only see, 1 or 2 attempts a year, maybe.
Yeah, right.
It's it's impressive, but it's really hard to compare and score.
Right. As opposed to a Prezi where you got 10, 15, 20 people per season taking a crack at it.
I mean, I think on the Prezi in the past 2 or 3 years, both on the Prezi and the Pemi, there's been a day where the FKT has been broken by 2 people on the same exact day, which is wild.
Right.
I know that for a fact for the Pemi, because I think my wife was up there doing like a 2-day hike of it when that happened, and I think it's happened on the Prezi as well, which is kind
It'll be interesting also in this next segment, and we'll bring them in here in just a second. Like for instance, Mike and Nell Fox waiting to come on in this next segment down in Virginia, and some of the others. I also see some of the Virginia FKTs come on, but some of them, at least from maybe it's just my north of the Mason-Dixon line vantage point, but don't seem to have quite as deep a competitive histories, which I'm also curious about, because it seems like some of those mid-Atlantic to southeast, that kind of Virginia region runners, maybe still more event focused. I just don't see them hammering away at like these historic like FKT routes like Pemi or Prezi, but maybe that's just my ignorance of not being aware. But it'd be interesting to see some of
down in that region, they're racing a little more year round than we are up here. Right. We don't have that much from November to April. There's not a ton of opportunity to really let loose up here on the trails, whereas those guys have some top level events in December, February, that sort of thing. So.
Maybe people have and they got lost and we just haven't heard from them again.
All right. So crew, thank you so much for being on here for the best of across the board and dealing with me figuring out tech issues in the front end. So thank you very much.
Thanks. Happy New Year, guys.
Right.
Happy New Year.
It was fun.
All right. So coming in.
Hey, look at that. We're finally live.
Oh, hey.
Only a few minutes late.
All right. And the
all these people sitting here waiting to talk about their love lives.
And the Egan should be in here simultaneously or here in just a minute as well. So hang tight.
Can you not hear us?
Ian, are you on a delay?
Probably.
All right. So we're ready, Ian? I think he is.
No, we're still missing Eric and Becky. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's give yes, you can preface it, but I think Eric and Becky maybe are still going to log in, I believe. Kozex?
Okay. If they don't, we'll just take away the points that we had pre-awarded them for this game.
And also answer the questions for them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Everything is fair tonight. It's love and war. So unfortunately for some people here, they're going to be competing against some other folks that are from Rochester with us. So you're going to just have to step up the game a little bit if you're not from Rochester, but we'll get to that. So
all right, start laying it out though, and I'll bring them in as soon as
while
they.
We wait on them, we can go ahead and introduce ourselves. I'm Eric, and
I'm Sheila, the cool Egan.
And we operate an organization in Rochester called Trails Rock. We put on a ton of races, and our biggest race that some people may have heard of is Many on the Jenny, which registration opens in just about 4 hours, if anybody's interested.
40-miler, really scenic, beautiful course. Race directors are questionable, but everything else about the race is awesome.
Yeah, so that's a little bit about us. So, Ian, are they joining us? Did Ian leave us? I think Ian left us. Is everybody else in here?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, we don't need Ian.
Yeah.
So what do we got here tonight? We've got 4 ultra couples. We've got Rachel Spalding and Logan Lemke. We've got Eric and Becky Kosick, and Mike and Nell Fox, and Jamie and Lorna Pekka. So we're going to give you guys each about 30 seconds to introduce yourself, where you're from, and how long you've been together. How about that? So we'll start with Rachel and Logan.
We are down here in Blacksburg, but we're actually both New Yorkers as well. I'm from Rochester and she's from Jamestown.
Rochester?
That's right. I like that.
We were just there.
I like that. And we have been together now for a little over a year, and we're getting married in May.
Fantastic. Well, the next couple up has obviously has the best name in the group with Eric and Becky. So, Eric, I love your name. It's a strong name. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves?
I disagree on that one.
I'm Eric. This is my wife, Becky. We're from Wellsboro, PA.
All right. 2 points for a good name.
And a really quick intro. How long have you guys been together?
15 years.
Long enough to have to ask each other. All right. Next, we got Mike and Nell Fox.
We are in Harrisonburg or Bridgewater, Virginia. We have been together for 5 years, but met 6 years ago. Yes, tomorrow. So excited. Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Thanks. High five.
Minus 2 points for the high five.
Undo the high five.
Points have been added back, and our next couple is Jamie and Lorna Pekka, not Pace.
No.
Or
No.
Pika.
Or Pika. We're not that. It's Pekka. I'm Jamie. I am from Batavia. Live in Rochester. I don't take away points for Batavia. I'm sorry. It wasn't my choice.
You're here now. That's what's important.
That's okay. I think mine's worse. My name's Lorna. I'm actually from a small town called Rahway in New Jersey.
Yeah. And we've been together for 4 years. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, listen, this next round was going to end at 8 o'clock, so that's not going to happen because Ian couldn't keep us on schedule tonight to save his life. It's like one of his races. But we've got some round robin questions, so we're going to name the person from the couple that we want to ask a question to. You're going to pick the answer. We don't know which one is right or wrong or how points are going to go out until we do them. So you want to start with this one?
I would love to. So the first question tonight goes out to Rachel. And Rachel, the question for you is, what is the best way to crew for your partner? Is it to take care of all the details? Is it to bring me the beer, the racer? Is it to bring you the beer, the crewer? Is it to bring them fresh socks or crew? I'm raising 2 chumps.
Wait, what was the last one?
Crew? I'm raising 2 chumps.
Definitely the one about the socks, not the one with all the details. Logan likes to take care of all the details himself, and neither of us drink beer really. Definitely not after a race. So I'd say the socks one.
Okay.
All right. Well, -2 for no beer, +1 for socks, and there was no right answer.
Next up.
All right. Here we go. Mike, this one's for you. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Do you like to compete with your partner? Is it yes, time to crush them? No way, I'd never live it down. Running together is what keeps us together. I have no chance, so why bother? Or they've got no chance, so of course I compete with them.
I'm going to take the third answer.
Running together is what keeps us together.
That is a really wise decision. Congratulations.
Neutral.
And if I he chooses violence.
All right, we're moving on. So far, nobody's got any points. We took them all away.
All right, the next question is for Eric, not my Eric, the other Eric. You need to finish this sentence. You like to run long, and it's not the only thing we do that runs long. You like to run long and find out what your limits are. You like to run long, and sometimes we even drive that far. Or you like to run long, and sometimes you post about it on Facebook.
The last one. Is that what I'm supposed to do? Yeah, the
You can
last
do whatever you want. Okay.
Posting on Facebook. Okay, we've got a Facebook couple.
That's not all we post on Facebook. All right.
I don't know what that means.
I got Jamie and Lorna next. So Jamie, you're gonna answer this about Lorna. She is a better ultra runner when she gets to sleep the night before the race. She gets to sleep the night before the race. She gets no sleep the night before the race. She gets no sleep the night before the race, or she actually trains.
Well, she stresses out too much, so she just doesn't sleep. It doesn't matter what it is. So yeah, there's just no sleep.
She gets no
so
sleep.
Either A, B, or C, or D.
Okay.
1 point for each.
Not the last one because she won't sleep before a race.
Actually, training was the answer for that one. So sorry.
Oh, she hasn't done that yet.
Yeah. Oh no, I got a surprise question on my list here. The next question is actually for Sheila. The first time we hung out was on a trail at physical therapy, the club scene downtown, a Zoom class, or while you were cursing up a storm in the middle of a Barnes and Noble.
Yeah. Listen, that just prepared you for running on a trail with me. Now you know the potty mouth comes out. It happens.
All right. We've got a little bit more here. So next up.
All right. This one is for Logan. Logan, when you see Rachel in Ultra Running Magazine, you should go buy all the copies. Expect that she already went to buy all the copies. Expect her family to buy all the copies. Or post it on Facebook so no one needs to go get the copies.
It's a combination of the middle two of her buying them all out and her family buying them all out.
Weird because I saw it on Facebook, so it can't be that.
It's a combination of the last three.
Maybe you can share that Ultra Running Magazine article in the chat.
Definitely the family one. Dad bought 5, so
perfect.
All right, Becky, are you ready? We're trying to keep this thing on track on time here. Are you ready, Becky? Okay.
Yep, I am.
You guys might be considered a couple of idiots if you wear shirts that tell people that and make a holiday card on it and send it out. Coach a bunch of people and call them idiots. Call no one idiots, but find a way to have them call themselves idiots. Or win the oil 100K by running like an idiot.
All of the above.
All of the above. That wasn't a choice. I like calling people idiots, though, so that one's where I would have gone. Does anybody want to tell us why we're talking about idiots?
Oh, yeah, because of our idiot runner group.
Idiot runner group.
Perfect.
Yeah. No. It's not all random around here.
No.
All right.
We're not selling anything.
We're not buying.
Good. Okay, good. We're on the same page.
This next question is for Nell. If you find yourself saying, I'll start on Monday, finish the sentence. You need a coach. You need some skin in the game. You will find out quitting is super expensive. You need Nell and Mike Fox to coach you with an integrative run and nutrition approach, or all of the above.
All of the above.
Well, of course you would say that with your integrative
run
and
on my
nutrition
Facebook
approach.
Skin in the game.
Skin in the game. You gotta have some skin in the game.
Skin to win.
100%. Yeah.
All right. I'm ready for Lorna here. You ready, Lorna?
I think so.
All right. You married a bona fide trail runner because one, they constantly remind you they were the Trails Rock Trail Runner of the Year in 2017. Santa came early with matching Garmin Enduros. How cute. You both know what the term mafamital means. Or you were not much of a runner before, but now the time spent together is invaluable.
I feel like I didn't hear the question.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear that.
You need the question again.
You need the question again?
I got the choices, but I didn't get the
Okay, so you know you married a bona fide trail runner because?
Oh. I'm thinking the watches.
It's yeah. I would say we tried to surprise us with watches, but then I ended up buying them.
Are you wearing
And
them?
also, I was
really
not a
liked
runner.
my new
I
watch.
was not a runner before I met Jamie.
Yeah, she tricked me. She made me think she was one.
Anybody else ever do that? Pretend to be a runner?
I never pretended. I was like, I will sit on the side of this track and watch you. Now here we are.
All right. Okay, so we're all tied with minus 12 points right now as we round 2. This one's going to be a little bit different. It's more of a rapid fire. So we're going to say who is, and then read a statement, and you will point to the person if it's them, or point to yourself if it's you. So, like, if I was going to say who is, for us, like, who's more organized when it comes to putting on the races? That's how it works, okay? Are we ready for that? All right, we'll just go back and forth so you can start.
All right. So question number 1, who is more competitive?
You're not on screen.
Oh,
so
sorry. I don't know where my camera is.
Recording at you.
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah, you're going to lose points if you don't do this right. Who has been a runner longer?
I can't figure out where the hell I'm pointing.
Well, at yourself or her?
At me.
Okay.
Who will be a runner longer?
Oh, all right. All right. Who is more likely to say, okay, that's enough mileage for today?
Who is more likely to want to sleep in and skip the run?
Oh, yeah.
Only sleep in, not skip the run.
Oh, you're just going to do it later. Yeah, that always works.
I was just going to say.
Nothing happened today.
Yeah.
All right. Which one of you or who loves new gear more?
Oh.
Is Nell a shopaholic for the new gear?
This is why I coach.
For the new gear?
Tax exemptions.
Yeah.
I feel like every single one of our couples all agreed with who is the new gear lover more.
So the next question is relevant.
All right, the next question is, who is more likely to have a favorite piece of old gear that the other person can't stand?
Really?
See that hat?
Some of those shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't like to get rid of things.
We have unanimous another everybody agrees.
Yeah, I think we all got that
Wow.
This is 20 years old. 20 years old right here.
Who is more likely to wear race swag from a race they didn't run?
Oh, I don't know.
We had a DNF crowd. DNF crowd.
I didn't say didn't finish. I said never ran.
Yeah, never ran.
Well, yeah, that
do that
too.
either.
That's all
I
right.
didn't own running clothes, so I just went into a drawer.
Support the RD.
I mean, gear is gear, right? Next question. Who is more likely to hit the gym?
Hit the gym.
Home gym or the gym gym?
Gym's a gym.
Both.
All right. He's not on here, so this one we can't point at him. But who's most likely to think that Ian has any idea about what we're talking about right now? We can't. Oh, here he comes. Hey, Ian.
If you only knew the technical stuff in the back that I'm trying to mitigate right now. So come on. Jim, I haven't been to the gym in years.
Who's Jim?
I don't even know a gym.
All right, we've got a couple more questions. We want to so Sheila and I, during the canceled pandemic season, we ran our race together, Many on the Jenny. We trained for it. We made a fun little documentary about it. We want to hear, we'll go around real quick. What was your favorite running together memory from 2021? So we'll start with the Pekkas. 2021. This year. What was your favorite running together memory from this year?
Cayuga 50K.
All right.
Yeah. That was my
epic
first
marathon.
Ian isn't giving any points out.
It was her first marathon and
for the win.
It was awesome. She was so mad at me because I made her like keep on like stopping to show me her watch when she hit 2022.
There's a great photo.
And it was awesome. And I was so happy I cried.
Yeah, you take and then Eric, we're all on a photo, and Sheila on the website.
It's true.
Oh God, we are.
No, you're telling a really bad joke, Eric. By the way,
and Jamie's laughing.
I would never do that. It must have been the other Eric.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of, maybe you guys can answer next, other Eric.
I would say for me, the finishing Twisted Branch, I was pretty far behind and not sure I was even going to make my goal. And he really, he was pacing me at the end, really pushed me. It ended really well. I would say
awesome. That was a fun day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we connect a lot when we pace each other at racing. We run a little bit here and there without the kids on the weekend, but helping each other in the race is probably most.
Awesome. Good day to have a good memory from. All right, Nell and Mike, favorite running memory from 21.
Well, we actually have two. Is that okay?
Oh, geez, fine.
Okay, but there's, I think, a point to it. So the first one, it was not really a trail race, but it runs like a trail race. It was a marathon out in Seattle, and he went out and ran his race, and I ran mine, and he finished before me, actually won the race.
Winner.
Yeah, it was great. I didn't know, though, until, like, obviously after I crossed the finish line, and, we had a really great day out there together. Took moving mountains, I feel like, for us to get there because we have 4 kids between the two of us. So that was a huge victory, but not all races are victories. And so we wanted to share one where maybe we weren't so successful.
Yeah, I had never DNF'd a race before, and I DNF'd the Damascus 50 miler, which is a real bummer, but she was there for me. Right after that, she DNF'd Hellgate.
And you just started?
Yeah.
I wore the shirt the next day.
Yeah. It is. So we were right on that question. But like we had 2 DNFs right back to back, and we had to support each other through that. So that was a big, our big moments from this year.
Awesome. And then finally we got Logan and Rachel, right? What was your favorite running together memory from this year?
My favorite was when I convinced Logan to go check out the whole 100-mile course that I was running in June, and we did the whole course in one weekend. And I convinced him that it was going to be really fun. And it was mostly really fun.
Yeah, perfect.
We had a really good weekend, though, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna put you on the spot with a food question real quick. We're gonna go around the table again. You each have to pick. You can choose one food for your partner to have to eat while they run races for the rest of their life. That's the only item of food they can have. What will that item be? And Sheila, you can pick who's going to go in what order.
Why don't we keep the same order that we went in before? So Jamie and Lorna, we're kicking it off to you first.
Jamie would be coffee with creamer.
That would be my food.
I was just going to say, and she will just chew the coffee grinds.
It's like her reward when she gets to a certain distance.
Yeah.
She gets to pull out the coffee.
And she gets Uncrustables. Yes. The strawberry one.
Which she forgot to bring to Mafamatal, and I was very upset.
Unbelievable.
Mafamatal!
Mafamatal!
It's like, where are the sandwiches?
I'll never make that mistake.
I've got to look this word up.
I never have.
Not a word.
Not a word. He said not a word.
Oh, darn.
All right, I think who was next?
Eric.
I'm like, I don't remember who was next. All right, you guys, you're up.
And then here.
I'd probably give him cheeseburgers with lots of
Cheeseburger.
ketchup.
Nice. Any kind of cheeseburger or a specific kind?
Fast food, anything fast food.
All right. What about
And
her?
hers would be spam dillas.
All right, Nell and Mike, I think you guys are up next.
We like cheeseburgers from Jack Brown's. Jack Brown's Cheeseburgers. It's a place in Harrisonburg, Virginia, local to us. And she likes the shiflet, which is confusing to me because it has an egg on it. And I like the cowboy.
So egg, hamburger, cheese, and then go run. What could go wrong? Nothing. Nothing can go wrong.
No.
Yeah, wings.
Chicken wings.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad plan.
Wait, who was chicken wings?
This guy.
All right.
Word.
We'll allow it. We're both from Buffalo originally, so that makes sense. All right, last up, Logan and Rachel.
Race fuel, that's an easy one. It would be the Awesome Sauce Spring Energies.
Same brand. That's like all we eat when we run.
What's for dinner? Here's some awesome sauce.
We're pretty simple.
All right. Hey, Ian, where are we on this time frame here? Are you even still with us?
What?
There he is. What time was the next one supposed to start? 8:10, right?
Yeah, we're managing that, but you got a little bit of flex time here. But yeah, you take what you need to, and we're going to. I just probably if we can be done the next 5 minutes of the segment, that would be awesome.
I can do whatever you want. We're teachers. We're flexible.
Yes, you are.
All right, everybody. One last question.
And it's a doozy. You're up.
Okay. If your relationship were a race, and you're all going to get a chance to answer this one, it would be A, a scorching summer race. Everything is steamy, hot, and sweaty. Would your relationship be a mud run with obstacles that leave you exhausted, dirty, but happy at the end? A mountain race with stunning views with the most Instagram bang for its buck? Or an ultra in the woods, ups and downs, highs and lows, something you say you'll never sign up for again, but you do immediately after you're finished? And let's see, Logan and Rachel, you guys are laughing. Which one would your relationship be?
Oh, the last one for sure.
All right, the ultra in the woods.
The sweaty one.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. We'll go with who's left here. Nell and Mike.
We're hot steamy.
Hot and steamy. Is that Virginia's for lovers?
That's right.
Most definitely.
They got that because of us.
All right, other Eric and Becky.
A and D.
A and D. So you're gonna have a hot ultra.
Yes.
All
A
right,
lot of chafing happening.
that relationship is gonna last. And finally, we've got Jamie and Lorna.
Which one do you have?
I don't know. I hate the summer. So
Yeah,
as
we're
soon as you
not
say hot
warm
and
weather
steamy,
people.
like that, for me, that translates to summer weather, and I hate it.
In the winter, we have two fans.
I'm gonna say mountain, whatever the mountain one was.
Oh, you want the Instagram? You do it for the gram.
I don't even use Instagram, but yes, sure, that one.
Perfect. All right. Well, listen, we tallied up all the points, and unfortunately, none of you have any. And so we're gonna have to give the win to Ian and Sherry for having her allow him to put this kind of shindig together.
I love it.
That's good.
That's
She probably hung in there for the first maybe 2 minutes, and then she heard all the culture, which my kids were as well. And I forgot the culture was starting the episode, and their language. So she was probably like, "Dude, what are you doing?"
Yeah, they could learn a little from us on
probably
sort of working in funny stuff that we know what it means, but we don't say it.
Yep. Yeah.
Real family friendly over here, you know?
Oh yeah, that's me. I'm family friendly.
Yeah.
Never cursing. This household, not a curse word happens.
I didn't curse once on this show today.
So, all thank you very much for being here again. Egan's, thanks for running a segment again this year. It's good to see you both on there and happy. And the four of you, each of you put in some pretty awesome efforts. Rachel and Logan, if you weren't listening to the episode earlier, Rachel, you for sure got some shout outs for the best ofs from that segment earlier. Nell, sorry I missed you at Hellgate. Kozix, I still want to get our daughters together. And Jamie and Lorna, I expect you back in the Cayuga field this year, if not yet. So thank you all. I think, Rachel, you're on a little bit later for the rest of you. Oh, and Kozix as well. Thanks for letting me, Kozix, also interrupt your New Year's party with having your guests on here as well.
You guys are having a party? And we weren't invited?
You are invited. You're on right now.
Just kidding. Have a great party, guys. Thanks for all being here.
It was fun. Thanks, Ian.
All right. Thanks, all.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right. Coach's crew, and let's see who we got still. Who are we missing here?
Sayard.
All right. Let's see if Sayard can log in and get it rolling. So thanks for bearing with it here. Sorry you guys are a few minutes late, but managing the technical stuff as best I can here. All right, let me check in with Sayard. Hopefully she'll log in. But in the interim, Grace, you could probably kick it in and just start going through some things.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me, Ian. Hey, Trails Collective.
Yeah, I don't think I can hear anything.
There we go. All right. There's Sayard. Hey. Hey, Trails Collective. My husband's grabbing. I made pot pie. So we're gonna get started here. I'm gonna start us off with some introductions. I loved the introduction from the Culture Crew because they did not mention me because nobody knows me, which is totally fine. They just gave me suggestions for questions, and I'm not going to use any of those. Mine are probably not going to be as good. It's fine. I dabble in some coaching. Oh, Susie knows me. I dabble in some coaching, but I'm the traditional coach, which is if you can't do it, that's me. But I'm excited. I've got the idiot runner himself. He's been trying to get me faster, so I believe in him. He's going to get me there. Let's do some quick introductions. I want to hear from each one of you. Sarah, Dick, Caleb, who are you? Plug your coaching because I know you're all awesome, phenomenal coaches, and give me an answer. Which is the correct way to make pot pie, with noodles or with a pie crust? Which is the correct way to make pot pie? Sayard, we'll start with you.
Hi, everyone at Trails Collective. I'm Sayard Tanis, and I'm the head coach at Sayard Tanis Coaching. I am here at the Idiot Runner house. So I think the agreement here is to make pot pie, you have to use a pie crust.
Okay, all right. That's up for debate. That's an interesting answer from some Pennsylvanians. Let's hear from you, Dick. Who are you? Plug your coaching, and which is the correct way to make pot pie?
Well, I'm Dick Vincent from dickvincent.com. I coach, well, that's it. I guess that's all I have to say about that. And what I would say about pot pie is the best way to make it is with a knife. Cut it.
Perfect. Good answer. Caleb, over to you.
Yeah. So my name's Caleb Bowen, and I'm the cross country and track coach here at Marshall University. And I have the opportunity to work with some ultra runners as well, like Ann Swann and a few others from Huntington, West Virginia. As for the pot pie question, I hate to say it, I've never made one, but definitely pie crust sounds a lot better. So we'll go with that.
Oh, man, I am torn here. You know, I'm originally from Michigan. I would say pie crust, but I live now in Pennsylvania Dutch country, and we only make pot pie with noodles. I'm going to say all of you are wrong. Okay, let's see if you can get this one right. Now, I did ask you ahead of time. We're going to jump into this segment. This segment's called I have segments within my segments. Okay. It's like hill repeats within your hill repeat. All right. So we're talking to coaches here, and I want to see how much you know about your own sport that you are attempting to coach. And I asked you ahead of time if you could grab two things, and those two things are a belt buckle or something from a race and a beverage. So you should have those two things with you. Oh, you've got a medal. This is large. Belt buckle and should have a beverage. And this segment is called Mountain Dew or Beast Coast Trail Race, and Sayard has her picture, which I just love. I love the picture. It's called Mountain Dew or Beast Coast Trail Race, and here's how it works. I'm going to say a phrase or a word, and you're going to tell me, is it, by raising up either the pitcher or the buckle, is it a flavor of Mountain Dew or is it a trail race on the Beast Coast? Which one is it? They sound a lot alike. So you're going to hold up one or the other, the beverage If it's a Mountain Dew flavor, hold up your medal or your buckle if it is, in fact, a Beast Coast Trail Race. And here we go. Code red. Mountain Dew flavor, or is it a buckle?
Which one?
Beverages. Spot on. That is Mountain Dew flavor. It's going to get harder from here. Black Forest. Black Forest, a trail race, or yes. Okay, Squatch Apple. Squatch Apple. Trail race. Yes, it is a trail race. Electric Apple. Electric Apple is in fact a Mountain Dew flavor. Yes. Pitch Black. Pitch Black.
Don't be cheating off me now.
Pitch Black. You gotta all raise that up at the same time. Pitch Black is in fact a Mountain Dew flavor. Voltage. Voltage. Yes, flavor of Mountain Dew. Breakneck Point. Breakneck Point is a trail race. Mountain Masochist. Yeah, that's a trail race. Frostbite. Frostbite. Mixed answers. It is a Mountain Dew flavor. Yes, it is a flavor of Mountain Dew. Frozen Snot. Trail race. Yes. Rhinestone.
That's a flavor of Mountain Dew. I'm not drinking it. What was that last one?
Trail race. Yes. Bloodroot. Bloodroot.
I think it's a great.
Bloodroot is a trail race. Yes. Blood Orange. Blood Orange. Blood Orange. It's a Mountain Dew flavor. Yes. Rothrock. Rothrock. It's a trail race. Good job. Sweet Lightning. Sweet Lightning. Sweet Lightning is a Mountain Dew flavor. Yes, a Mountain Dew flavor. Southern Shock.
Yeah, right.
Southern Shock. Trail race or a Mountain Dew flavor. It's a Mountain Dew flavor. Yes, good name for a trail race though. Got some ideas out there. Green Monster. Green Monster. Yes, trail race. Spark.
What's that?
Spark. Spark is a Mountain Dew flavor. Whiteout. Whiteout is a Mountain Dew flavor. White Face. Yeah, White Face is a trail race. Solar Flare. Solar Flare is a Mountain Dew flavor. Nice work. Hellbender. That's a gimme. Trail race. And Mountain Mist is a trail race. Nice work, everybody. Thanks so much for playing Mountain Dew or Beast Coast Trail Race. That one goes to credits to my husband, who says all your trail races sound like they're Mountain Dew flavors. And they do, in fact, sound like they're Mountain Dew flavors. I'm going to go into I'm going to get some tips really quick because I know everybody who's listening now wants to hear a couple of tips, and then we're going to jump into some more competition. So first off, I did cut my finger here. As you can see, I cut my finger making Pennsylvania Dutch pot pie. How much time do I get off from training? Caleb, we'll start with you. How much time do I get to take a break from my training schedule?
Probably not much. I mean, how much are you bleeding?
I did have to change my Band-Aid once.
Once? Yeah, I think you're good. You're good.
Okay. All right. Wrong, actually. That's not the right answer, but that's a good try. I like your effort. Okay, Dick, how about you? How much time do I get off from my training?
You get 1 day off.
Yes. All right. That's what I'm talking about. 1 day off. Thank you. Sayard, how about you?
Well, I think you will just need to modify your plan a little bit this week in case you're going to be like crawling up any embankments, descending on ropes. We might want to hold off on that. So we'll just modify, let you do something a little bit easier this week.
I like that. I really like that. Maybe maybe just relax a little bit, do some yoga, some stretching, some foam rolling. I appreciate that. See, these are some everybody coaches a little bit differently, right? That's okay. Now let's start into some real questions, and someone keep track of how everybody's scoring here. We're going to start with you, Sayard. You have been known to crew or pace your athletes when you can. I think that's true for a lot of coaches, the coaches here. Let's say your athlete is in a big race and they start whining about just a little bit of rain. How do you motivate them? So this is multiple choice. A, you tell them dropping isn't allowed at that aid station when actually it is. B, you escort them to the quitter's corner, which is actually back on the course. C, you pace them while carrying a pitcher of water and barely breaking a sweat to show them how weak they are. Or D, you talk to them like they're a 5-year-old and gently shame them and also encourage them with treats.
This is also going to be dependent on which athlete it is. I have different tactics for different athletes. I'm going to go with D, though.
Hold on. Let's just say it's an imaginary athlete. Let's call them Derek Dosek, right? Derek Dosek. Let's just say he's whining about the rain. And what would you do?
D, treat it like a child. Treat it like a child and use treats and insult them.
Yes, absolutely. Spot on. You are correct. Much like one of my favorite crew people I have when I'm doing ultras is my friend Lacey. She also helped me. I'm going to give her writing credit for some of these questions. She helped me out, Lacey Deller. And she is an RN for disabled children. And that's basically what I am when I do ultras. I'm a disabled child. So yes, you're spot on with that. Talk to them like they're a 5-year-old, gently shame them, encourage them in treats. Okay, you get a point. Someone keep track of points. Dick, you're next. You're creating a training plan, and your athlete's goal is to beat their Western States time by 2 hours in just 1 year's time. So they run Western States. Next year, they want to beat their time by 2 hours. What's included in your plan? A, I don't put it in the plan. No one could possibly improve that much in 1 year, except unless his name is Dick Vincent. I secretly put together a plan for a great half marathon time instead. That's A. B, I add daily CrossFit and a daily Peloton ride. C, it's a great time for a running streak with a twist. I gradually add 1 mile every day until they can't run anymore. Or D, is it prancercising? Which one do you add into their training plan?
Well, I'm gonna add in A because I improved 2 hours my second time at Western States.
You absolutely did. And I don't know how you did it, buddy, but it was pretty impressive. So you're spot on. The answer is A. Caleb, you're going to bring it. I'm excited for you. It's your turn. And here's your question. Which athlete would you rather coach? So these are some hypothetical athletes, not real athletes, but they're different types. We get all types of athletes we get to coach. The first one, A, Susie. She knows everything about trail running, listens to all the podcasts, watches Trails Collective, and knows all the ultra sign-up stats, but she's afraid to run on trails because she might fall. B, Derek. All his running outfits are the same color head to toe, and his dog is also in a matching outfit because the outfit helps him run faster. C, it's Terry. The most important data point for Terry is the calories burned, and they want their training plan in number of pizza rolls they get to eat after. Or is it Sally? Sally is a black bear and DNF'd her last marathon and got headline credits in the news articles before you, who actually won the marathon. Which one do you choose?
Did you say Sally was a black bear?
I just gave a black bear a name, but I did find an article about a black bear who was on the marathon course, and it was a marathon that you won.
Yeah.
But the article was initially about the black bear, and then there's like a line at the bottom.
I don't know. That's really hard.
Did you know you were racing against a black bear?
I did. Well, I saw it, and she whatever ran up the mountain whenever I passed by.
Did that help you win?
Yeah.
Having a black bear on the course, that's pretty motivating.
Probably A, just because I feel like we can work on not DNFing and not being scared to start the race. So if we can get her to start the race and to finish, I think that'd be a huge accomplishment. Although coaching a black bear would be really cool. So yeah, we go with A, but D is definitely the second.
You were right. I mean, Susie's got a lot of heart. She really loves the sport. She's just got to get over that fear of falling apart. Yeah. And of course, coaching a black bear would be pretty sweet. Okay, back to you, Sayard. What coaching advice do you give to your female athletes to navigate the sausage fest that is ultra running? A, you attach 2 belt buckles to your sports bra and wear it to packet pickup to confuse the competition. B, women are just tiny men, talk to them as such, and give them smaller training plans. C, teach them how to pee standing up, but seriously, it's helpful. Or D, just bring extra lube.
C, teach them to pee standing up.
Yes.
Work it into the training plan, have them practice it certain days, and otherwise just have them practice peeing themselves so they don't waste any time. Wear black shorts.
Yes.
This is great training advice. When I initially started practicing it, I did it on a rainy day. Look at that.
Yeah, perfect. Yep. Wash it right away. You can, try again in an hour or so.
Yeah. Perfect. Great advice. Thank you, Sayard. You got that one right. Dick, your next question, your athlete is the, because we're hoping that Zach Bevan, that his schedule was going to work out and he was going to be able to join us. He wasn't able to join us. And it could be because he was shamed out of the show because he is from Kentucky. And I don't know that Kentucky is technically right. That's a little bit, it's getting kind of west. And he was also the first loser at JFK. He got second place. Well, let's say that Zach Bevan is one of your athletes and he is the first loser at JFK. How do you punish him? A, no trail running for 6 months. B, you take away his craft beers. C, nothing but road 5Ks until he gets his act together. Or D, is it Hut Fugs with Matt Lipsy and Zach Miller?
Oh, I'm going with Matt Lipsy.
Spot on. That is the answer. Hut Fug.
That's the only way.
Lipsy and Miller is.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Have you ever had the opportunity to meet Matt or Zach?
Matt's won the escarpment trail that I organize.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't met the other guy, so if he come run the escarpment trail, that'd take care of that problem.
Nice. On the escarpment trail. Looks beautiful. Caleb, back over to you. I'm picking on Zach again. So Zach, he did say, I'm not picking on him though, because here's what I'm gonna say. He said that he was a mediocre college runner. That's what Zach said about himself. So what is the best advice you would give for somebody trying to be a mediocre runner, which is me? So, and what shoes would you advise for me to use so that I can be a mediocre runner, just like Caleb? All right. So A, Crocs, they're comfortable, so it's okay to wear the same shoes as my toddler. B, Converse, because then everyone can talk about how cool it is that I ran an ultra in Converse. C, New Balance, then I don't have to change my shoes when I switch to my job as a general contractor. Yeah. Or D, slipper socks to keep my feet cozy.
I think Crocs. Crocs is the answer. You can definitely race in Crocs. You can do anything in Crocs. So, Zach was never a mediocre runner. He'll tell you that, but he was very fast in college too.
I think he was.
Don't let him fool you on that. He ran for UK. He's fast. Don't let him.
It was the most ridiculous comment. I saw a podcast title that was like, from mediocre college runners. Like, he's not mediocre.
No.
Those are the ones that scare me the most. They're mediocre.
Right. I want to be mediocre. If that's your definition of mediocre, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I want to be mediocre.
Huh? We all want to be mediocre runners now. Oh, great. Okay. I want to go back to some advice because we're at a tie right now. It is a zombie apocalypse, and you get to choose 3 runners for your team. Who do you choose? So this might not just be about speed because it's zombie apocalypse. You might want them to be able to fight, so this could be a tough question. Sayard, zombie apocalypse, you get to choose 3 runners who are going to fight against the end of the world with you. Who are you taking with you?
Are these my athletes?
Could be anybody. You can pick anybody.
Wow, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Could be Lauren. I mean, she's a sprite little thing.
Yeah. I'll take Amelia Boone as one. I'm going to take Michelle Benshoff as another. And Usain Bolt, just because I'd like to have him along.
Nice. You can get messages from like you to another clan pretty quickly. Very good choices. Dick, how about you? Zombie apocalypse. You get to choose 3 runners. Who you taking with you?
Well, I'm going to take Matt Lipsy because nobody will confuse them more than Matt. And I'm going to take Michelle Merlis, just because, you know, she can get through anything. And I think I'm going to take you.
Yes. You just got bonus points. You are now in the lead, Dick.
Yeah, I figured that might help.
Nice work. I like the creativity. Okay, Caleb, 3 runners. What do you got?
All right. Well, I'm going to name a guy named Brandon Perry. He's a guy that he's an ultra runner. He's strong. He's fit. He can fight off anything. But just in case, he's a little bit slower, so we can get away while he fights him off. I'll pick Ann Swann because she's the toughest person I know, and she can definitely fight him off if I can. And then, maybe Danny Green because he's a tough guy too. Yeah, we think he can do it, and we can't.
Absolutely, you got a tough group. I mean, all 3 of you, if you had like competing clans, I don't know who would beat the other one. But I tell you what, I think about this all the time when I'm out on my long runs. I'm training for the zombie apocalypse. I know I could at least make it to the port of Baltimore. That makes me feel pretty good. It's all worth it, I think. All right, let's get back to our multiple choice, and then we're going to wrap it up. Sayard, what's the best advice for someone training for their first 100-miler? Is it A, join the Trail and Ultra Running Facebook page and do everything that everyone says in those posts? Is it B, win a vertical K instead, just as satisfying, but more time for beer? C, start practicing your nap skills and training your gut. Naps and snacks are key. Or D, hire a coach, follow their plan, but wear a weight vest and a sauna suit for every run for maximum gains.
Okay, C then. Naps and snacks.
Naps and snacks are spot on. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with win a vertical K instead. Just as satisfying, but more time for beer because you did that, in fact, and it inspired me. That was pretty effing awesome. So I'm gonna take away points for not getting it right, and I'm gonna give you a point for winning that vertical K. Okay. Dick, you said that coaching is both art and science. I agree with that. What else is coaching? A, less running with just as many snacks. B, wearing a cool hat, a tracksuit, a whistle, and you get to carry a clipboard. C, essential to your master plan. Or D, a way to justify a really long recovery period after your 25-year running streak.
Okay, I'll go with that. The last one for it was actually 34 years.
Yeah. Coaching is both art and science and a way to justify a really long period of 25-year running. Right on. It's a great way to recover, I think.
Okay, there you go.
You talk about how important recovery is, and I agree. Caleb, what do you think about listening to music while on your training runs? A, absolutely, as long as it's John Denver. B, the sweet sounds of Ian's voice on Trails Collective is so much better. C, cheaters never prosper. Or D, you motivate your runners with a recording of Trent Swanson berating his runners and smashing mugs and listening to the Culture Podcast list of Patreon supporters.
Definitely A, John Denver, country roads the whole way. For 3 hours at least, yeah.
Oh, the West Virginia runner right there. I personally would definitely not agree with that, but I would go with the crowd, and everybody else would agree with you. I love going down to West Virginia for those trail races. There's a lot of great trails down there. And I listen to John Denver the whole time. Anybody I ride with, make sure that I have to listen to it, whether I like it or not.
Yep, definitely would.
Friends. All right. We are wrapping it up. One more piece of advice that you would give to anybody out there listening who is training for trails or ultras or just trying to be a good person. One piece of advice. This is all you got. Sayard, what's your piece of advice?
It's so sweet. Consistency is king. So just keep getting out there, keep putting yourself out there, and the results will come, and your motivation will build as you keep getting out day after day.
Oh man, that's a great piece of advice. We're starting with the warm and fuzzy stuff. Thank you, Sayard. Dick Vincent, how about you? One piece of advice.
Well, your training plan has to be sustainable, and you don't want to make it too aggressive and then not do it. So I guess it goes back to what Sarah said about it being consistent. It has to be sustainable, or you're not going to be able to be
consistent and sustainable and enjoyable along the way.
Well, definitely if it's not fun, you're not going to stick with it. So you've got to keep it fun, and you can be dedicated without being serious.
Right. Yeah, you can be dedicated without being serious. You can include all the pizza rolls you want. Thanks, Dick. Caleb, how about you? One piece of advice.
I don't want to expound upon that. Just, if you love it, just keep doing what you love. If you love running trails, run the trails. If you love running the roads, run the roads. I mean, there's no perfect distance. There's no perfect. If you want to do a marathon, do a marathon. Like there's always something for you in the sport that you can do. So find what you love, do what you can, and just have fun with it. That's the best I can say.
That's such great advice. Yeah. Yeah, if you love road marathons and you do a road marathon or a 5K or whatever that thing is, and appreciate all of you coaches giving us some advice. And now we're going to bring it downhill to Trent Swanson. Here you go, Ian.
That is going downhill. To the coaching crew, thank you so much. Hot Pants for taking that on. Sayard, you owning that picture. Dick, we will get you in here to launch the race registration going live for Escarpment as we were supposed to at the beginning of the Trails Collective. And Caleb, hope you're healing up, and hopefully we'll share some miles at some point.
Oh, cool. Dick wins, by the way. Oh, he mentioned me. He's bringing me to the apocalypse.
Okay, just had to throw that in there.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I will check you later. All right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh snap! Yeah,
oh snap!
You brought these three. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, you got something to work with here. It doesn't.
Starstruck. I feel like I'm watching the All-Star team here.
Yeah, that's a little bit of pressure, brother.
And a guy from IKEA. I don't know who that is.
So we got. That's right. You got to put your. Yeah, there it is. VinCap happily running. Perfect. All right. Take it away, Trent. And thanks everybody for being on here and flexing on times and making this happen last minute. So
No problem. I gotta give a shout out, David. I was just talking to a buddy of mine, Joey DiCarlo. He went to Liberty University. Just sent him a message. I got Dr. Horton online here. So appreciate you guys all coming on. They said legendary race directors, and definitely not you, Vinny. You're getting there, dude. You're still young. You can get there. Anyway, wait, Sasquatch. I know this is like awesome. I got Smokey here. So we're not doing the last year. We did the multiple choice, and we're gonna do actually. It's gonna be written essay, not essay, verbal essay, oral essay kind of answers. But before we start, you guys are each gonna get a minute to introduce yourselves. Most people probably know you. Some people may not. Before we do that, I'll introduce myself. I'm Trent Swanson with Algonquin Ultras in Delmarva, which is the flattest part of Earth. It's across the Chesapeake Bay. There's actually no reason why any trails should be here, but we do have some. And somehow they're always flooded and miserable and cold. and we don't know why people come here, but they do. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here with you all. I put on the Algonquin 50K, the Duck 100K, the Tuckahoe 25K. I just threw on all the swag I could find to kind of promote. So because you guys be doing all the talking, and the Pemmican 24, which is like 24 hours and 5Ks. But anyway, we'll start with Kim, and then David, and then Vinny. So you get a minute. If you go over a minute, you get disqualified, and I'll see if Ann can kick you out.
All right, I'll keep it under a minute. Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Lipinski, race director for Sasquatch Trail Runners in New Jersey and New York. We put on trail races, but we call them trail parties. That's our tagline. Every run is a trail party. We welcome runners, hikers, all ages, paces, peoples. Everybody's welcome at our races. And we go all over. We're in New Jersey. Technical rugged trails, easy mellow trails. We like to appeal to all different runners and hikers. So Sasquatch is real. We've seen them out there, unicorns too. And come out to a trail party sometime and join us.
Excellent. Thanks, Kim.
David Horton, Lynchburg, Virginia. I direct the Hellgate 100K and Promised Land 50K. I have directed the Mount Mascus for 25 years, and I directed Holiday Lake for 25 years. So I just have the 2 races now instead of the 4 races. We have a lot of runners come out, have some enjoyable races.
Thank you, David. Vinny.
Awesome. I'm Vinny Cap from Happily Running. We put on, I don't know, a bunch of races now, 6 or 7 of them, a couple down on Long Island. And then we do Beast of Burden now upstate in Lockport. And then my wife and I are also helping out with Finger Lakes 50. And then I personally am one of the RDs for Laurel Highlands as well.
Wait, Vinny, I met you, didn't I? I met you at Cayuga.
Yeah.
We were hanging out. And I got to do your Long Island one. I got to go out there.
There you go, man. Come on out.
I was suffering a bit there. Man, Kim got a clap. No one else is getting claps or messages there. All right, so here's how we're going to work it. So there's no rhyme or reason how you get points. There's going to be 4 categories. Each of you are going to be able to answer a question in one of those 4 categories, all right? So easy to do. Your questions be different. They'll be tailored towards you, sort of, and you'll get points on that. If I keep track of the points pretty well, we may have a winner, and if not, then I'll make up whoever won based on your answers. They have to be good answers, all right? They don't have to be correct answers, but they have to be good answers, all right? We don't need truth. We just need entertainment. People need to be entertained. It's New Year's Eve. We need to entertain. I'm sitting there at my desk with a bunch of staplers. Why do we need staplers as race directors?
Why do you have multiple staplers? Isn't one enough?
3 staplers. And you ever buy stuff as a race director that you never use, like a camera? So if anyone wants a camera, like, you never use that. Anyway, all right. So ladies first. We always mark our courses, pink flags going out, blue coming back. We always say ladies first. So Kim, you get a choice. Oh, let me go with the categories, okay? These are the categories. Aid station, course/marking, joy, and pain. So there's 4 of those. You can choose whichever one. You're going to get all of those questions tailored towards you. And yeah, that hat is hot. Vinny, I'm going to trade you the hat maybe for with the camera or maybe one of these hats. All right. So Kim, which category would you like?
That's a tough choice between all 4. I'll go with the last one, joy. That sounds
Joy.
good. Bring it
All
on.
right, joy. All right, joy. Kim, who is the one person that on race day, when you see them, you know you'll be completely happy? This
Oh,
sense of, this is like,
that's right here. That's
Yeah.
right here.
yeah.
Oh,
Especially
man.
David didn't get one of those. I don't think he's going to get one like that. It's a little soft.
There's so many people that come to mind. I'll just say because there's multiple people. I'll say the first one, guy named Anthony Certa. He just started his trail and ultra journey. He went from like 0 to 100 literally in a year. And he's the guy who's just screaming literally screaming in happiness the whole race. So when he's at the trail party, you know it's going to be a good time.
Perfect. I like that. So you're not going to like give the scream that guy gives right when he's running.
I can't even get close to his volume, so I'm not going to go there.
All right. Good. Vinny, up to bat from New York. What was that course you were telling me about? You go around like 300 times at Central Park or something? We're talking
Well, yeah, well, that's the Sri Charmony one, but yeah, that one's
I'm
pretty.
still going up there. I'm going to take the subway. When you see me there,
it's pretty gnarly.
I hope I get a ticket to that. All right, Vinny, 8th station, course/marking, pain or joy?
I'm just gonna do the opposite of Kim. I'll go with pain.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good, I like pain. What was the quote? You make friends with pain and you never be alone. I love that. Anyway,
that's it.
But I've been alone a lot of times and in pain both, and neither of them make sense. It's like, man, I was suffering in Snowdonia a few months ago. And I just wanted to die. All right, what is the most difficult part mid-race of being a race director? Like, what's the most painful part in the middle of the race? What is something that you're like, ooh?
Going to the bathroom most of the time. I forget, but on race day, like I just really forget.
Yeah. You know what else? You know what? I've got a buddy of mine, Gabe. He every race, mid-race, he'll come up and bring me food because he knows I don't eat. I don't know if do you guys have that problem? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave, you have that problem? Yeah. So anyway, I don't eat, and then they think I'm gonna faint. So, but
or get really hangry. Do you get hangry?
No, because I can't give that away because that's maybe one of my questions. Anyway, I can't give that. But I'll tell you later. All right, David.
Yes.
What category would you like, sir?
Course markings.
Course marking. I like this one. All right. What is the most? Oh no, that's an 8. Okay, course marking. David, should a course be longer, shorter, or shouldn't it not even be actually measured at all?
I'm not sure if you've heard too much about my courses, but I probably believe the latter. It really doesn't matter what the length is, as long as you're running the same course every year.
Exactly. Yeah, we know about your courses. That's why you got that question. I think I made this stuff up. Jeez. Yeah. You know, one time someone said, hey, your course is long. I'm like, I don't even know what the course is. They're like, what? I was kind of joking. I'm like, you're going to have to talk to the course marshal. I pointed to this guy that ran the race. And I'm like, you got to go talk to him. And the person ran and talked to him. They found out that the person had nothing to do with the race. All right. So good job. All right. We're going back to Kim. Kim, you've got 8 station, course markings, and pain left in your bucket.
All right. Let's go with, we'll do the opposite then. Pain.
Pain. All right. What keeps you up at night before race? What's painful? What gives you nightmares? The nightmares, the things that just dig at you.
Nightmares.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always worried about risk, right? Like, especially if there's bad weather in the forecast, that gets me a little bit anxious.
We never have bad weather races, right?
No, never bad weather. Always bad weather. But other than that, probably just goofy things. I always keep a notepad next to my bed because I'm remembering stuff at midnight the night before. But
that's true. Google Keep, that's my best friend. You know, you keep track of all the stuff. But I tell you what, talking about like good, bad weather, we had 2 of our races. One was on the coldest, nastiest day of the year, and the other one was on the hottest, most miserable day of the year. It was like a heat index of like 105. Yeah. I took a bunch of cash, gave it to this guy. I'm like, just go buy all the ice you can at Sam's Club. Luckily, Sam's Club is like a mile away. And we had it was like an ice party. I felt like.
Was I there for the coldest day? Was that the duck?
You were there for the coldest. I mean, it was just like, it wasn't the coldest, but it was raining and just people were hypothermic.
That was lovely weather. You really delivered on that.
You're welcome. That's when we smashed that mug of yours. All right. So good. Wait, who all right, the pain. So what keeps you up? All right. So we're going back to Vinny. You got 8 stations, course markings, and joy.
Let's do 8 stations.
8 stations. What is one thing you wish that all 8 stations have, or that your 8 stations have, that we should be jealous of and we can steal? That's the only reason I'm asking that question, because I want to take all your good ideas, manipulate them, and make them amazing.
I don't know. I mean, I think the only thing that's like semi-unique that I haven't seen in other races that we do is that we usually get like big heroes, like a deli hero, and have them there. But I think every 8 station should have pierogies. For some reason, they're just like the most clutch 8 stations.
You just got like a 5 points right there just for saying pierogi because I mean I did a survey once to see what the best. I shouldn't ask that because that's one of our questions. That's all right. We may not even get to who knows. But I asked what's the best aid station food, and pierogi is like top of the list.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's what's interesting. The cheapest things are the things that the races seem to like the most, right? Except pierogies. But pancake, quesadillas, broth. I mean, broth, you can get that for like a nickel.
Yep.
And the people go like ape crap all over it. So, all right, David.
Yes.
Where you at? All right, what do we got here? Pain, joy, or aid stations?
I don't care. Whichever one you want me to take.
Bring your own stuff.
I want to go with joy because you got a big smile right now. And we're hoping that we
joy is the finish line. Joy is the finish line. Joy is the finish line, seeing people finish and knowing something about the runners, knowing their name, calling their name out. And you can just watch and see the runners as they cross the finish line, whether they've achieved their goal and are pleased or tickled or not. And I just love that. I love seeing people achieve goals. And you can tell, you can just look and see whether they're happy or not, whether they're joyous or not. And it's just very, very rewarding, especially if you know someone's worked hard, if someone's paid their dues, if someone is really tough mentally. And you can just see the reward there. And I know at Hellgate this past year, we had the men's record set and the women's record set, and both of them were wiped out. They were annihilated. Physically, they were horrible, in horrible shape. But mentally and emotionally, I knew that they'd achieved a major goal, and they were both tickled to death. So just looking at people's faces. And I try to welcome every runner to cross the finish line. I try to call every runner's name out as they cross the finish line. I've been doing that for years. I've directed over 100 ultra marathons, and I've done that since I've started. And I hate to miss anyone. So I hate to go to the bathroom at the end because I might miss someone. And once in a while I do that. And once in a while I do miss someone. And someone says, oh, I missed the Horton hugs. And so I told people this year at the races, I said, put your hands up like this. Like, no, you don't want me to hug you or shake your hand or not, because more than likely I'm going to probably give you a handshake or I'm going to give you a hug, regardless of whether we're in COVID or not.
That's a great answer.
Congratulate you.
Going down to Lynchburg right now just to get a hug.
You'll have to earn it. You'll have to earn it.
I'm going to have to earn it. I'm going to have to sign up for one of those. All right. Thank you for that. Good answer there. We're going back to Kim. You've got aid stations and course markings.
All right, let's go course markings.
All right. Why the hell do we mark any courses? No, I'm kidding. It's it's funny in Europe, they don't mark almost anything, and you have to actually stare at your watch the entire time. It's crazy. So my question is course markings, more or less?
More. Yeah. We had the reputation of it looking like throw up on the trail. So that's our reputation.
Dr. Horton has that same reputation for a different reason. Also, but it's real throw up, I think.
We've had issues though. Our parks are so busy up here in Jersey with people messing with the markers. So we try to put out a lot, just kind of counting on people messing with them. We just had our last race. Somebody went out, turned the arrows around, pulled down ribbons, put them on different trails. Not good. Was that you? That was you, huh?
Sabotage.
I knew it.
Yeah, you guys were kind of getting close to our territory, so we had to send a message.
No,
I always say, people go out, and I always say you don't pay to get lost, so it's important to keep things marked well. And but you also have to make sure that the runners are being accountable for keeping their eyes open as well. So it's a nice balance. But I always say mark it more. I always say, let them know there's gonna be a turn. Show them there's a turn, and then let them know that confidence flag afterwards. Hey, you're on the right way to go. So perfect, man. Kim, you only have one more after this. You're gonna have to just knock that one out of the park. I tell you. Yeah, because I got all these warm fuzzies about the finish line, and I'm like, I don't know. King Horton's doing pretty well there. All right, so we're going to Vinny.
Yep.
Vinny, course markings of Joy. What do you got?
Let's do Joy.
All right, Vinny, I love Red Bulls because they give you wings. It's a bad idea now. I visit cardiologists all day for my day job, and it's a bad idea. But I do drink them on race day, and they bring me joy. So what brings you joy during race day, that, and maybe a little snack or something that you think, oh, that's really, brings me joy on race day throughout? Maybe it doesn't have to be the finish. Maybe something that just kind of makes you smile.
Yeah, coffee.
Okay.
Just having just a little bit of coffee at some point like that, like when you just start getting that, like while you're just kind of like tanking and you just don't feel like you're doing something.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it, like most races and where you go, there's like always crappy coffee, but I have a portable pour over, and I have a nice travel mug that I got, and I usually carry like a jet boiler or something with me, and I'll always just like stop and make myself a decent cup of coffee and just kind of enjoy it.
Nice. Is it like you're making it like an iron? You bring an iron skillet, don't you? You just start.
I mean,
cooking.
I have, but yeah.
Any particular brand we should know about, Vinny?
No, I really like Ithaca coffee, man. A lot of the local stuff here is really.
Are you doing that because you're just doing that because of Ian, right? You're staying
No,
on his good side.
no, he's got nothing to do with that. But
I'm
yeah,
making sure. I love Ithaca, by the way. That city is awesome. I'm gonna keep going to Cayuga just for the city.
That's it.
And the stairs.
There's a
And
few
the
of them.
pain. That's right. All right, David.
Yes.
Aid station or pain?
Aid stations.
All right, this one. You've been race directing a while. You've run some races. What is the most overrated aid station item in ultras that you think, I don't even know why they put those there? Makes no sense to me.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
I gave myself points for that question.
I don't know. You got to have fluid. You got to have food. You got to consider where it's hot or where it's cold. If it's cold, they want something hot. If it's hot, they want something cold. You got to consider the seasons. You can't always have the same stuff at the aid stations. I think I try to get every aid station to get their own food, and I tell them some items that I want all of them to have, but then I said, you get other items too. You get other food items. You get other drink items, so that runners will have different choices because you like different things at different times. I see where someone said watermelon is a waste. To a certain degree, I think that's probably true too. But
he hasn't had the humidity here in Maryland.
We have humidity down here. So you got to have whatever you got. Depends on the weather, what the weather's like as to what you need to have. And back to course markings. I think that's the most important thing about a race is course markings. Properly marked course, if it's supposed to be a properly marked course. For example, Barkley is not a properly marked course. It's not a marked course. But if it's a regular race, I think the fastest runner should win, not the person who knows the course, who's done the race, or who's studied them out. I think you shouldn't have to make decisions. When you come to intersections, it should be clearly marked, heavily marked. You should think about what you use to mark with. Just if you use just streamers, that's not good because streamers can be taken down and marked a different way. I think you need to use paint on the ground. Paint is hard to sabotage. You can wash them out, but you can't remark them some other direction. And you just can't do too much. Also, what I've done with Hellgate is I've established over the years, we've had it for 19 years, where have people gone wrong? So I say tricky turns. And I send out a copy of the tricky turn list to people every year. And I said, don't be stupid. Don't win the stupid award for doing something stupid. Don't miss this turn. Don't miss this intersection. Uh-oh. So Vinny does that, huh? With that hat on. I don't understand. I understand why. But properly marked course is really, really important. And check it the day of the race if you can. Aid stations, back to aid stations. What you want to have at aid station is ultra runners working aid stations if you can. Because if you have 5K, 10K marathoners working aid stations, or just good old Joe Blow who's down the street and knows you, those people are not as good as the people who are ultra runners. Ultra runners make the best aid station workers if you can get them.
Perfect. So David said watermelon is terrible. Thank you.
That's not
he
terrible.
Said no Boy Scouts. No Boy Scouts at the aid station.
Nope,
I like it.
Nope, not at all.
My rule on teenagers is one is good. You get more than one. I don't want them.
Teenagers are not good. You don't want them. Nope.
If you got one, actually, we have some really good teenagers here as long as we keep them separate. Anyway, so that's a whole different thing. But when the reason I came up with that overrated one was I think bananas are the most overrated because we always have leftover bananas, but everyone thinks they need bananas. It's like t-shirts. They think they need a shirt for a race. But you don't
Always
really need
extra
it.
bananas. Always.
No.
I agree.
So many bananas. People go bananas over bananas. All right. So we got one more question for each person. I got to tell you, I think I know who's in the lead, but I'm not going to say who. Right. All right. So here we go. Kim, you only have one category left. It's aid stations. And you call the Sasquatch running a trail party. What is the best party item at the aid stations? And why is it such a party?
Period.
That's it. No, it's just,
You left me hanging there. I thought there was more to it.
Yeah, it was a hanging sentence. It's a new tactic that I use in my podcast.
All right. So what was it? Most popular item?
No, this is, I want to, you say it's a
What
trail
makes it a party?
Yeah, so when I get to that aid station, I want a party. So what's the best party item when you get there?
Yeah. It's a good question. So we just made some changes with the aid station. Now we've got a whole table for vegan, gluten-free. And I was really shocked at how much joy that brought a lot of runners. I've heard comments before in the past, like, oh, I can't eat this. And I hate seeing that. I hate seeing runners come to the table and then they turn around. They're like, I can't eat this. Because I think more and more people are having dietary issues. So we started doing that and it was really popular. But we still have, the full spread of other stuff. But we had a runner come, a good friend of mine. He just finished the Triple Crown 200s. He ran our aid station and he brought his fryer. And so he was dishing out funnel cakes and deep fried Twinkies. So that was a real party scene at our last race.
What was it like down the trail from there?
That's not, I don't worry about that. They come in, they eat, they're having a party, and then they take off, and I don't see them till they come back.
That's right. It's a trail party there.
Trail
I like
party.
that. That's something I learned too, because I mentioned before the importance of chicken broth and how much people love it. But with every pot of chicken broth, have that veggie broth as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much. And, I'm a carnivore and I love that stuff myself, the veggie broth. And but being accommodating, but also making sure you're looking at everyone. Speaking of that, I always say if you take care of the first runner and the last runner, everyone in between will be happy.
Exactly.
So,
I think that's important too about aid stations. Never, ever, ever clean up before the race is over. Like making sure your back of the packers have the same aid station as the front runners.
Yeah, like that. I did that marathon in DC once. They ran out of chocolate milk by the time I came across.
Yeah, that's no good.
I was like, wasn't that bad. It was like a 4:15, 4:20 marathon. I mean, that's kind of mid-pack, right? You think I'd have a chocolate milk? No chocolate milk.
Right? Look how sad your face is. You're sad.
I'm just upset. That's why I was like, forget road running. I'm going to the trails.
Bacon.
Yes, thank you.
You can never have enough bacon.
Bacon is a great thing at aid stations.
And David, you just won an entry to the Bacon versus Scrapple Naylor Mill 7K in Salisbury, Maryland this summer. We'd like you to join and be on Team Bacon. Perfect.
I like it as race director too.
Yeah. Yep. The Bacon is amazing. We split the teams up into Team Bacon and Team Scrapple. Bacon's won 3 out of 4. There's actually a Team Veggie, but they sometimes get disqualified for not having enough runners.
Good.
Anyway, whole different story. But Bacon, nothing beats Bacon. Love Bacon. Thank you. My goodness. Hold on. David just got about 5, 15, 20 more.
Well, I've been around longer.
Yeah. All right, Vinny.
Yeah.
You got one left. Course. Should a course be runnable at all? I just love that.
Marginally.
Yeah. So courses, you say marginal?
No, I think it depends on what you're doing, right? I mean, there's races that so one of the races that we put on is we have like a ridiculously long cutoff, and it's there for folks that can come run, and it's awesome. And we did it kind of on accident, and it's a fairly easy course to run. It's flat. It's on Long Island. There's not a lot, to do, but it's got a 36-hour cutoff or something like that. And if you want to run 105 miles in that time, you can. If you want to run a 50K in that time, you can. So it brings a lot of old timers who can't get to that spot anymore and can't run a 50K, but they still want to be out there finishing, ultras and stuff. So I think it's all in your delivery. You run a race like Hellgate, no, you should, not expect to be running nearly as fast as you're running one of our races. But I think it's
as long as you know what's coming, right? Is that what
yeah, that's it. And you're upfront about it. The first year we did it, we kind of put it out there, but we didn't explicitly state that our course was 10.5 miles, not 10 miles. And people were livid that they were running an extra 5.5 miles for 100. I was like, that. Sorry?
Yeah, as long as you let people know what they're getting into beforehand, right?
Right.
Right, Kim? Like the duck?
You were very clear. There was no false advertising about that.
Because there was no advertising. There was no information. They have no idea what they're doing.
You said it would be miserable. You nailed it.
It was
You nailed
miserable. That's right. Yeah, we put on this race, the Duck 100K, and you sign up, but every year it changes, and people have no idea where it's going to be. It's pretty fun.
And it starts in the middle of the night, right?
I like that.
Yeah, and the greatest thing is this is the first year that we actually knew where it was going to be when we opened up registration. The first 3 years, we had no idea ourselves. It's pretty fun. We had no clue. Anyway, all right. So the last question, we're going back to David Orton. It is, why do you like to see people suffer so much at Hellgate?
It's not that I like to see them suffer. Well, the harder you work for something, the more difficult something is, the more rewarding it is. You think about what run you're proudest of, each one of you, and you're proudest of the hardest thing you've ever done, or the hardest thing you've ever completed, or the furthest distance you've ever run. So I don't necessarily want to make things hard. I want to make things that are challenging, that they'll feel a great reward from. The old statement, if it's easy, everyone would do it, is true. If it's not easy, then it's much more rewarding. What's the most rewarding thing that I've done that it would be hardest to do again? It's finish Barkley. Finish Barkley 100. That's the hardest. It's the most difficult. And therefore, it's the most rewarding. So I don't necessarily make things hard on purpose. I make things that are challenging, that they'll feel a great reward from when they finish.
Sounds like the perfect answer and the perfect way to finish up our questions. We appreciate that. Listen, you guys all earned a lot more points than I thought you were. Don't you think, Ian? Don't you think they all earned a lot of points?
It was great. Yeah, I think it's a good mix of, individuals and personalities. And Trent, I thought you brought that together. And in your questions and prepping, well prepped, sir. I think you were able to get into some of that. And it's been cool to see all of you, Kim, to see you growing, Vinny, to see you taking on more. David, it was wonderful to be able to get down and finally run two of yours that have been on my list for so long. I feel almost not worthy because I just feel like I'm too old, out of shape, broken to actually lay it out there. But this was one of the first, or one of the only ones that I really just was stoked to finish Hellgate. Right. To come down, to get beyond 3 miles, and to feel terrible all night. It was really section by section, and I was just thankful to finish. So thanks. And I appreciate that opportunity. And I appreciated just how long you've been at it, and to honor that. And yours was one that I did. I was going through that quitting mindset, like often we do, right? At some point out there, but I was like, dude, this is a David Horton race. Like, I can't quit. Like he'll give you hell, or he'll not let you back, or whatever. You earn your place, and if you don't, you don't make the cut. It's not like you can just hop on to Ultra Sign Up and you're just in if you get there in time. So I appreciate the opportunity. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ian. Thanks all of you. I actually had fun, so I appreciate that.
Thank you, Trent. That was awesome.
I didn't think I'd name a winner, but David Orton, congratulations.
Great.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your New Year's Eve tonight. Trent, have fun with the family. David, thanks for making it happen. Sure. Vinny, last minute. And Kim, thanks for joining us once again.
Appreciate it, guys.
You got it.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Happy New Year, all.
Happy New Year to all of you. Run while you can.
All right, you are on. Indeed. So thanks for making it happen all, and flexing Matrix Lasagna for being back on hot seat again. Gags, thanks for making it happen. Rhoda and Becky, thanks for pitch hitting in here as well with Michael Ortiz also not being able to make it. and to also carving more time out of the party house there for New Year's. Yeah. So I will back out here unless the Matrix of Lasagna wants me on, and I look forward to seeing what's on deck.
Yeah, you can stay on if you want, Ian. Yeah, that's cool. There you go. I'll let you chime in here. So last year I asked some big, important, open-ended questions, and this year we're in a new year, so we've got to ask some even bigger, more open-ended questions. So I put some things together, and we're just kind of tabletop, and you can. I'll keep score just like whose line is it anyway? They don't matter, but we'll see what happens. We'll have to come up with some team names here. Don't worry, I think I already got it. How about team Omicron, Delta, and COVID 69? So yeah, that's what I'll call you guys. And yeah, and then at the end here, I think I have a question. Zach couldn't make it this year to ask questions, and I know a lot of people probably wanted to hear what kind of questions Zach had to ask. But he did send me a message the other day. He was like, I want you to ask this question. So I do have a celebrity question coming in, and we'll throw that out at the end. But okay, the first question is, what cartoon do you wish you could live in for a week, and why?
That's really hard.
And I could tell you mine if you want me to warm this up. And I would choose Hey Arnold, and that's because, have you ever seen that guy's room? Amazing. He's a remote control that controls a room. I'd do anything to have that room. And if this is my chance, so I would choose Hey Arnold.
All right. I'm gonna go with I keep coming back to Chili Willy. It's probably one of my early favorites for the Chili Willy cartoon, and I think because he's always just in these seemingly kind of epic outdoor environments, just doing just crazy stuff. Whether he's just kind of blowing things up or like making holes in the ice and just like generally causing a ruckus, and I think it's really consistently entertaining.
I'd have to go with Ed, and Eddie, mostly because that's like the only cartoon I watch. Plus, they have a big jawbreaker all the time. Ed, and Eddie.
Yes.
I mean, it's like endless supply of jawbreakers. So.
And you get to hang out with Plank. I mean, he's the coolest guy on that show. You remember Plank? It was just a 2x4 with a crayon face. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Never said anything. Hey, there's Jeff Bro. What up?
Hey.
Hey, I'll throw the question at you, Jeff. You're just coming in. It's actually a good time. So our first question.
Hey, all kinds of good stuff.
Is if you could spend a week in any cartoon, what would it be and why? And I said, Hey Arnold, because he's got a great room. Ian said some cartoon I've never heard of. It wasn't the black and white Mickey Mouse. It was something kind of like that. And Rhoda said, Ed, and Eddie for the endless supply of jawbreakers and. So what do you got? You can spend a week in a cartoon. Where'd you be?
So, how about Mr. Magoo?
Not bad.
Mr. Magoo.
I like that. That's old school. I like that. Yeah. That guy can never see his toes. He's always got his face scrunched up. I like that. How about you, Gags?
I would probably go with the Smurfs. I enjoy spending time in the woods, hanging out with mushrooms. It seems like a nice communal way of living. And if the biggest problem I have is like Azrael and Gargamel, then I'm kind of stuck. So I'm going with Smurfs. Papa Smurf all the way.
Very trail runner-ish. I love it. Hey, Becky, where would you be?
Probably like Bubble Guppies. I don't know if you know that, my girl. Yes, these little fish that swim around all the time, and everything's happy, and they sing a lot.
Sounds good to me. Okay, so my next question is: if extra lives were a thing in real life, what would you have to do to get that? So to get like an extra life, like in a video game, you get like an extra life, you get like a respawn or whatever, another chance at everything. What do you have to do? What's your quest, or how do you get an extra life? What feat of strength or something like that would earn you like, wow, this guy gets to try it again. He gets a whole other.
These are hard questions.
Yeah, they are hard.
That is a tough question.
Who's going to start this one?
You can. You got one?
I don't have the best answer, but I would think you would have to put up a top 5 ultra runner of the year. If you could earn that spot, maybe you would earn an extra life. Maybe qualify on the U.S. national team for the 24-hour team. Perhaps that would give you a extra life. Maybe winning one of David's races.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't really thought about this one much myself. So while someone else is giving their answer, I'm gonna think about mine.
I'm gonna go with peeing on the run and keeping it kind of clean. I think I've long been very impressed about those who really nail that, and I feel like you should get extra kind of points or kind of time off if you can do that effectively.
Yeah, you know who does that? Zach Miller does that.
That's totally.
That was the first time I've ever seen anybody do that. We were racing in Firewolf, and I look over. We were doing like a 5-minute mile, and I look over at him. He's got his dingus out, and he's pointing to I'm on the right side. He's pointing to the left because real nice guy. He's pointing to the left, and he's just whizzing, and I'm just like, what are you doing?
All I can say is I perfected that at Heiner.
Did you?
Yes, I did. I have never actually had anything. I learned at Heiner, and now I'm good.
Wow.
I'll stay with the theme and say the female version is learning to pee standing up. You can pee standing up, you get an extra life.
They make shiwis, right? They make that job a lot easier. I heard you guys talking about that. They make this device. It's called a shiwi. It's basically like a funnel, and you put it over your lady bit.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Yeah, but you can't run with that.
I mean, you're right. Yeah, it's like,
come on.
But it does. They do exist. So somebody's doing it.
Yeah.
The funniest part to me is that it comes with an extendable tube. So if you want your funnel to be longer, you can make it was like one of the accessories they sold with it. I'm like, what's this? And it's like an extendable, and I'm like,
you gotta get it to go in your gallon jug between your legs.
What's that?
You have to get it to go into your gallon jug down between your legs while you're driving.
Yeah, you're road tripping,
Yep.
Yeah.
Going to an ultra.
Trying to write your name in the snow. This is your first time writing your name. You might need a little more accuracy.
Yep.
Write your name in the snow like that. I don't know.
Endless possibilities.
Okay. How about? I don't know if anybody else wants to throw a wager at that one, but I think we've covered the last questions. If anybody wants to say anything, feel free to add in. But if not, I'll roll into the next one here. That's if we lost. If humans lost the ability to see all colors except one, which color would you want? That just if you can only see one color, what would it be? And it doesn't necessarily have to be your favorite color. Like it could be a useful color. Like, I mean, for me, I would want it to be like neon, like the safety colors that people wear when they're like cycling or running or something. I'm like, I want that to come back. That's just my best guess, but. What do you think?
So black and white aren't a color. So
well, you're going to see a grayscale. Yeah, you're going to see a grayscale. But then you could have one color. It could be a favorite color. You'd be like, I just really like blue. Then blue it is.
I think your high vision color, the neon yellow would be the best, just to keep you safe.
And it lets you know what's important. If you got you're looking at something at work. Which I don't know goes into work anymore, but if you're looking at something and somebody's highlighted something,
yeah, exactly.
It's highlighted, you're like, oh, I could never forget that if that's all I could see. Or if I did, they'd be like, well, how could you forget that? And I'd be like, well, I guess I chose to not look at it. I got a TPS report and I overlooked it, so go
These
figure.
TPS reports fucking kill you.
They're the worst.
I'm gonna go with green on this end. I think in the time that I was living down in New Mexico and there was just not much green around, growing up here in Pennsylvania, like I just got used to pretty kind of lush forests and grass and whatever. And suddenly when you got to this desert climate, you got used to the brown. But I think I didn't realize how much I really missed green until I got back, and I think I want to see that.
I would go with green also.
Oh,
any reason, Becky?
Go ahead, Becky.
Yes, because once we get through our winter, like green, it just stands out so much as we go into spring. And I think I would miss that. I'd miss all the color. And there's a lot of green around. So I'd get to see a lot.
Everything would be green all the time.
You'd only see the color when it's there.
So, like,
I actually thought of green,
but all right, so for me, like, I live in the city, so there's really not a lot of greenery around. So nice green areas. Plus, I find the color green to be very, very soothing. So I got it
definitely soothing.
So give me lots of green.
So I was thinking green, but there's so much green in this area. I thought, well, no one's going to notice it. But like Gag said, like there's places where there isn't green, so it's a thing.
Well, that's a good point. And that goes on to the Lipsy logic, right? Where
Yep.
Rhoda and Becky just mentioned, well, would you still see the green or Lipsy? I mean, you're the moderator here. What, in the absence then of any other color, would there just, you couldn't see anything else? Or would you just like run into something that was like, dude, where'd that come from?
You'd be able to see it. It would just be gray. Or,
Well, is that not two colors then? I mean, it seems
I think
like
grayscale, right?
Grayscale, yeah.
That's everybody
You
knows.
got 16 gray levels of gray.
That's a shit. But no. It would just be like one color of green. It would be one shade of green. But like, here's the thing. In my mind, is it almost like paint where like you've got different shades of green, but they all start with like a base green, and then they become a different green by adding layers of green.
That's what I would hope. That's how I say it.
If that's the case, then everything would just look the same, like the green that we have on our screen where it says our name. Like, I think it would just be like that, where you look at grass and like there's normally hues and shades. It would just be like that green. It would just be that green right there. But regardless, I'm starting to think that green is a great idea, because what do you need every day to survive? Water. And where does green lead you? Water. So I think you guys are on the right track. And I'm surprised how many people said green. And I guess it makes sense because, of all the answers that we threw out here, I really like the answers. But it's such a common color that if you were to choose to live your life, or you had to live your life where it was just all gray, green is such a populated color, or such a populous color, or popular color, or whatever I'm thinking here, that you would still be able to see a lot of color. It would be like, it would kind of look like a piebald deer. They got like the white and the brown fleckled mixed together. That would be your life, but it would just be like white, gray, fleckled with green. So half the deer is still green, like, so to speak. So that's a smart answer. All right. What else we got here for you? What is one thing that you wish grew on trees? And you can't say money. But if there's one thing that you just wish grew on trees, like you go to like an apple orchard, except it's not an apple orchard, it's a tire orchard, and you're like, wow, I needed a new tire for my car. Like, there it is growing on a tree. It might be kind of a bad example, because I think rubber comes from a tree, rubber tree. But not really. This is just like a raw product. It comes right off a tree. You pick it, there it is for you. What do you wish grew on trees?
I wish it was like a high calorie fruit or something like that was everywhere in the woods, because as a type 1 diabetic, I'm running ultras and like I'm getting low sugar and crashing and eating all the stuff that I have on my hydration pack, and like I'm scared I'm gonna not make it to the next section. And if there was just stuff on all the trees, it would be awesome to be able to grab something.
What fruit does that for you? Like what fruit keeps you going, Jeff?
Yeah. Anything's really good. Like apples are good, but oranges are really awesome. But up here in PA, we don't have those. But like anything with sugar in it would be awesome, because you know, back in the day, I used to have to check my sugar like with a finger stick and stop and check and do all that. Now I can check it on my phone and I can see it starting to trend downwards. So it doesn't even have to be really high concentrated. You know, if you just knew there was a glucose source and you could grab that as you needed it, it would be awesome.
I would say Rice Krispie treats. Because that's what I like.
Awesome.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah,
You wouldn't have to carry them. Just run, grab it off the tree.
That would help me a lot. That's pretty sweet. I love it.
I'm going to go with avocados.
Oh, I love avocados. I love them. I really love them, but I can't eat them.
But also guacamole too. Like a nice guacamole tray.
Yeah. When you you get the sap like you do for maple syrup, but it's guacamole. It just
exactly.
Yeah.
Like get a grapevine and
I love the taste of guacamole, but and avocados. But as soon as I put it in my mouth gets raw. Like it feels like carpet inside my mouth. And like for the rest, it doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m. or 8 a.m.
2 a.m.
I am miserable the rest of the day until I sleep. And I always go to my friend's house and they're like, "Oh, you got to try my homemade guacamole." And I do try it. I try it. I do. I try it every time, and it never works. It never works.
Dang. Sorry to hear that.
I am. Because I love the flavor. It tastes so good.
You wouldn't do well in a guac tree world.
I'm going to go with hammocks. I think because I see a lot of trees out there, and you see the people like in movies, whether it be like the Hunger Games or some sort of like a Disney cartoon, and they just climb up in these branches and they like fall asleep. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like I haven't found a branch configuration where I really feel like I could take a nap and like not worry about it. But like if there's just a hammock there as I was cruising by, like just imagine how chill people would be in the woods, just kind of stopping and just hanging out in the hammocks.
Hanging out.
I had a college roommate of mine sleep in a tree overnight one time. Climbed right up there and slept like a raccoon.
That's great. Yeah, that's quite the skill.
Yeah, right. And he just slept across some branches. It was like a pygmy tree, but it was a dream of his that he probably had in a dream.
And was he very lucid? Is there some level of intoxication that kind of fostered that decision?
No. He was just a weird dude. He always had like weird things. Like one time I came in and he had the door off its hinges. And I was like, it was a huge door with like a crazy key lock to get in. And I was like, I came into the room and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "I just wanted to see how it worked." And I was like, "Did you figure it out?" And he was like, "Not really." And I was like, "Well, hopefully you can put it back together." But he slept in a tree. But I like the hammock idea. That's cool. I kind of wish there'd be like and it doesn't have to be all over the place, but you just find a good one, like a nice beer or something. Just you're running through the woods and you're like, "Oh wow, look, an IPA!" On a tree. That would be kind of neat.
Or homebrew.
I'm not like a huge beer guy, but I do like to sip the bubbly every once in a while, and I think that'd be nice.
Yeah,
like a natural harvest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rhoda, Becky, what you got?
Oh, she already went.
Oh, you did.
I would say mine would probably be a variety of sodas and beer, so I could kind of like a vending machine.
It's like the second best thing when running.
Yeah.
Other than Rice Krispie treats.
Oh, Rice Krispie treats. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. And then here's one that Zach and I were talking about. We went on a bike ride on Monday, and he was going to go back to Oregon or whatever he was doing. And we were talking about last year. We asked this question, and he's like, "You should ask that question again." It was too funny, some of the answers that we got. And so we're going to just ask it again. And then once everybody tells me their answers, we'll pit it against last year's best answer, and we'll see what you guys think. But the question is, if you could replace all the grass on planet Earth with anything else, what would it be and why?
That's a hard question.
We've heard some answers. I think last year we heard snow, which is a great answer, especially since we don't get winters. Shaking your head, come on, snow. As long as you don't have to move it, as long as you want to move it, it's fun. Now we don't get winters like we used to, and it's kind of last year we had 3 big dumps at this point already, and like 1.5 feet of snow on the ground. And this year we have it's 50, it's like 45, 50 here. It's muddy. Don't get me wrong, I like the mud, but I mean we need some snow to really do what we want to do with the winter. But yeah, I've heard snow. It's a great answer. That was something that was pitched to us last year. And I'm just killing some time. What do you guys think? So if you're ready to shoot your answer, shoot your shot.
I'd go with forest. Grassland is good for a lot of stuff, but nowadays, especially, like the forests have been so reduced. So, like replacing the grassland with mostly forest, anyhow, would be great because that's what we do. Run in the forest. Running in trails, regardless if it's in open fields or not, is fine. But like in the woods is where it's at. And
you got like the raw resources like trees and stuff like that. Especially in a place like Europe, kind of decimated most of their major forests, and they don't have a lot of big trees anymore.
Right.
Kind of helpful for them. Plus, you could always clear what you need. If everything was forest again, and you're like, well, here's a plot of land I'm going to farm and put my house on. You always clear that. You could trade some guy like 3 bricks for 3 sheep or whatever they do in some yeah, you can do that. I like that. So replace all the grass with forest, more trees.
Yeah.
Still plant stuff, just more dense plant stuff. Eggs, what you got? Replace it with some guacamole trees.
Well, I was thinking about avocados, but I don't know if old sugar toes over there would like that.
I would love it. I just can't do it.
You would appreciate it. You just wouldn't be able to partake.
Exactly.
No guac for me. No.
Oh, definitely, I would try it. No doubt.
I would, if I could replace all the grass across the world, I would replace it with probably some kind of fruit roll-up substance. I think it's versatile as clothing. It's tasty while on the go. It's a fly trap if need be. And did I mention how tasty it is?
No, you hadn't until then.
You know what they used to call that? Like fruit. You said fruit roll-up, right?
Yes.
You know what that material, like what it used to be called, was fruit leather.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's like beef jerky, but with fruit. So, like, and it's funny because when you said like it could be used as clothing, one of the questions I almost asked was like,
Spencer.
What's that?
Remember Spencer's back in the day?
Yeah.
They would sell that as like lingerie, as a gag gift.
Yeah.
You could totally buy that. It was edible lingerie, and that's how I knew what it was. It was a fucking fruit roll. I shouldn't curse. I'm sorry.
That's too funny.
It's like a hair shirt.
Spencer's isn't around anymore then?
I think you know what? It might be around. It next to Hot Topic.
I was gonna say that's a shame because how are kids gonna feel uncomfortable when they go into a mall anymore? Ian, you have one.
Yeah, I think Gags just made me think of it when he said you could turn it in like fruit roll-ups could make some sort of like clothing, and something that I just learned when I was looking up fabrics was SCOBY. I guess like the SCOBY that you make kombucha with, you can actually it becomes a really good leather material. Like you can actually
When you
use
dry
it
it
as
out.
a leather substitute. And so given the nutritional potential value of the SCOBY plus the utilitarian nature of it as a fabric, that would both be sustainable in terms of nutrition as well as apparel.
I had no idea.
Me neither.
Because I had Scobies. I was throwing them out in the backyard when I was done with them.
Yeah, there it is.
I would say I would replace all the grass with moss. Does that count as a different substance?
Yeah, totally. You can do
Yes,
that.
definitely.
It's really soft. You don't have to mow it. Certain things can still grow.
Yeah.
It's really
And you can
soft
play
in the
miniature
fall. You can
golf to
practice
like
your,
no end.
gymnastics.
Yes, and it looks nice.
And you
That's
get
awesome.
You get some extra training benefits by running on moss because it's so much
Yeah.
more difficult to run. But they wouldn't translate because if everything's moss, then everything's moss.
You don't have to rake leaves like you would with woods or
You'd
forest.
have to find like a strip of dirt or asphalt, which, you know, like you're not, I mean, grass isn't everywhere, but as soon as you get onto asphalt, you'd be like, whoa, my 6-minute mile just became a 40-minute mile because I'm not running on moss anymore. So some implications there, you know, like, oh, so-and-so, he trains on moss. Well, duh, he trains on moss. It's either you train on moss or you train on asphalt, you know what I mean? But then people be waking up. They'd be running barefoot, like back to barefoot running.
Like, doesn't everyone run barefoot?
So, I mean, you can be honest. A lot better gymnastics. I mean, we don't already have a great gymnastics team, USA, you know, but people would be more. There'd be more gymnasts, maybe not more better gymnasts, but there'd be more gymnasts because nobody's afraid of getting hurt and falling on moss.
Right.
The last thing you want to replace it with is cobblestone.
Yeah.
God.
That's the worst.
Everybody gets slower. Everybody have,
You know
but
it
they have
is.
stronger ankles.
Yeah, right.
I would not want to play soccer on that. That would be terrible. Like, get on the soccer field, the ball would just be bouncing everywhere. People would be scabbed up.
It's like Plinko.
Yeah.
And nobody. Well, you'd probably have really tough. You walked around barefoot. You know that guy's tough. You're like,
Yeah. But your skills of keeping the soccer ball off the ground would be key.
yeah, I don't know. I just think it would bounce around. Like you're saying, like Plinko, it would just be like. Boing. Nobody want to play that game. Everybody want to watch it, but nobody want to play it.
They just go catfishing or something. Perfect cast or something like that.
Oh, you mean from Goofy movie? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Movie.
Yeah.
Perfect cast.
Yeah.
All right, I am going to roll us into the final segment of the night. Lipsy, thank you. Matrix of Lasagna, rather. Thank you for round 2. And hope I hope you're still cranking and feeling better. And the artwork. Yeah, and I keep thinking every time I look at you in this screen, I keep thinking that's like a hand that's about to kind of just claw you from the back in your recliner.
I didn't notice that till now.
Yeah, it's like a solidarity fist up there. Yep. Gags, thank you for being on here. Rhoda and Becky, thank you again, letting me steal you from the party scene there. Jeff, thanks for tuning in, brother.
Yeah.
And I will. Yeah.
Before we go though, I don't
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Wait, hang on. I think Matt. What were you saying there?
I was saying I don't think Rhoda got to pitch her thought on what to replace the grass with. But
We'll get it on the next round. Yeah, sometimes your audio is going in and out a little bit there, so she may not have been able to hear you in that last second there. We'll get it next time though. But Matt, thank you, man. All right, guys, I am pulling through the next one, and I will check you later. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Peace
All
out.
right. What's up, all? Rachel, good to have you back on. Michael, glad you could make it. Holly Ann and Gene, glad you could make it as well. I didn't know whether you were like in Antarctica or like Peru or something like that based on all the seal photos lately. So I'm glad that you're able to be on here as well.
Yeah, it was pretty lucky. It was just after Delta and just before Omicron. So we squeezed that trip in just in the nick of time.
threading the needle is still living the dream. And AJW, Andy Jones Wilkins, was going to join us in this last segment as well, last minute, but then he also last minute couldn't make it. So what I wanted to close out the night with was, given the amount of just chaos and stress in the world, I've seen for all of you just have just amazing performances this year, at least running as well as just in life. Gene, following some of your photos. So for those of you who may not be tuned in to each other and some of these individuals, Gene, I'll start with you on the screen there. For those of you who don't know Gene, it's just a total animal. Fell more into serious running later in life. Broke a world marathon record at age, what was it, 72?
70.
Age 70, went a sub 3-hour marathon. Still putting in, I don't know, like a race every month, including up to like 200-mile trail races. Traveling the world. And I think you're going for another, are you going for another marathon world mark coming up? That's on the horizon?
Oh, best chance would be at London. That's not till the fall. I'll have a lot of training to do that though.
And what would be the target?
Well, I would like to get a new PR. That would be 2:54:23.
Uh-huh. It's just, it's awesome. So inspiring. Holly Ann, coming in from your West Virginia?
West Virginia, Huntington, West Virginia.
Yeah. And so also, at least one of the big ones for you this year was coming back at on the 100-miler. You not only, I think last year when you ran, you had some issues like mid-race and you stayed pretty committed, came back and just ran a phenomenal time this year at Rim to River.
Yeah, definitely. So I went from basically a road running career to ultra running, and the 100-miler last year was my first ultra race ever. So I went from 26.2 to 100 in 1 year, and that didn't bode well for me, but I was able to kind of fine-tune my trail running this year, and basically went from around a 28-hour finish last year to not seeing.
So awesome. I love seeing some of the photos coming from there, and just I can only imagine just the satisfaction of so focused on the year later and still being fairly early in the sport, and just the kind of gratification of that effort. So nice work. For Michael, I was aware of you, I think, seeing some of the images that were posted up on Hellgate prior, and yours and Rachel's efforts last year just being so incredible. I was too far back to actually see any of it shake out, and I think you had already probably gotten a good 4 or 5 hour nap in by the time I finished. But knowing that you also have been focused, and it's kind of paid off, and knowing that you've got some pretty cool events, and I think for what you have, at least 2 of the events on deck for next year, being Barkley and Western, knowing that they're not just about racing. I mean, they're just about, Barkley in as much as is about the experience. And for you, as we connected on the thread, I really appreciate and like the tie-ins with Buddhism and your kind of philosophy out there, and what you can do with that mentality. And I think that would be, I can only imagine, so helpful at something like Barkley. And then for Western, just to really see what you can do. I mean, I think you're an incredible athlete, very strong, very fast. And if the day comes together, it'll just be interesting to see you in that kind of national mix. And then for Rachel, it's been great to see you just cranking as well, and kind of growing into the sport, and kind of being a young gun, so to speak, and really just, I think, coming into your own and kind of finding yourself out there, not just finding yourself, but finding the dude next to you there with Logan, right? And in terms of what it's meant for you just in life. And so for the 4 of you, seeing, despite all the chaos, despite all the uncertainty, just with some amazing experiences this past year, and looking forward. So I wanted to close out the episode tonight and just checking in with each of you and just hear from yourselves something that you're thankful for in this past year, and then maybe a couple things or wherever your mind goes and something that you're really looking forward to in the year ahead. So we'll go in that order just because that's the way I looked on the screen. So Gene, we'll start with you.
Oh, there's a few things I was grateful for. One thing is, at your race, I always run the 50-mile option. But this year I picked the 50K, and I am very grateful that I did that. Boy, what a slog that was. I was having fun, but boy, I didn't want to go out there for another loop. And so I'm really glad that I did that. Another thing I'm glad I did was I entered two 200-mile races, neither of which I finished. But I always tell people, it doesn't matter whether you finish, because if you do 2/3 of it like I did, you're going to have memories that'll stay with you your whole life. You just gotta get out there and do it, because trail running, the longer it gets, the better it gets. And I'm grateful I could still do it.
And how about going in this next year? I guess a couple things that you're really looking forward to, whether it be running or not. It can be either or whatever.
Well, one thing, what's the logical thing to do when you failed at your last 200-mile races? Well, the logical thing to do is run shorter races, right? Well, I guess that's not the way I roll, because on my calendar for next year is a 320-mile race. And across the years, I'm hoping to do 400 miles in 6 days. So, if you fail at 200, try something longer.
And what's the 320? Is that across the years as well, or is that a different one?
No, that's it's a state race in Australia. Yeah, it'll about 50 miles a day. So just think of doing Cayuga 50 7 straight days. That'll be what it's like.
No, I don't think about that at all. But but I'm really excited that you do it. Right.
Well, I can get really excited about things like that.
You can, and it's awesome. All right, so we'll maybe come back to you. Holly Ann, same thing.
I'm just really impressed by Gene. Now,
you've got so much time for good adventure.
For 2021, I'm super grateful going into 2020. Like I said, my first race was the 100-miler, and I had my close friend BP pace me, and he willingly signed up for over 40 miles of that race. So it was really exciting in 2021 to be able to pace him for his very first 100-miler. He ran Grindstone, and Caleb ran about 29 of that, and I ran 21. So it was super exciting to help him accomplish that goal. In 2021, I'm really grateful for more trail experience. This has kind of been my first full year on the trails. I had anywhere from 50K to 100-mile PRs and wins. I've kind of set my base for 2022, and I've had over 100K of vert this year, and hoping to do more in 2022. And I'm just so grateful for the best crew ever that has helped me this year. I'm really grateful for my husband. He did basically everything for me and Caleb at Room to River 100 this year, and I know he'll do the same in 2022. And Caleb, I'm really grateful for him as a training partner and coach as well. And also, just going into 2022, I've kind of shown myself this year that I can be successful in the trails with just a year of trail experience. So for 2022, I'd just like to stay where I'm at and keep moving up.
Cool. And on that, in terms of looking forward or staying where we're at, do you have any specific target events that you're looking toward for 22, or not events that are just adventures?
It's kind of been bipolar. Goal wise, I'd like to go, since I was so close with 50K, I was 401. So I'd like to go sub 4 this year in the 50K. At 100-miler, I was not team flat, but I could hope to be faster this year. As a little hillier course, I'm kind of aiming for maybe a flatter 100-mile, maybe in the 17s or 16s.
And Yeti opens what, at midnight tonight? Isn't that about to
All
open?
races do. Rim to River opens at midnight. Canal Trace opens at midnight.
Cool. Okay. And Michael, up to you.
Yeah, I guess I'm grateful for just any opportunity to race, especially after the year we had where like racing was just a non-existent thing. And so yeah, every time I raced, or all 3 times I raced, I guess is just thinking that race could be my last race ever. And so is kind of just trying to be mindful of that opportunity. And I don't know, I was like, well, I could die tomorrow and this is it. Like, so I wasn't like being too, I wasn't taking it for granted, the opportunity. And that kind of kept me more present and kind of absorbing all of the nuances of the experience. And kind of embracing if there was something not going as planned or if there's major adversity, but to kind of actually embrace that, because thinking, well, it's not every day we get to have this type of adversity in our life. And so it's kind of like seeing as like, what lessons can I learn from this? And so I guess I'm grateful for having worked on the mindset to try to be aware of that. And I guess I don't really think of like, I know I have to exist like the rest of the world as far as having a calendar and months of the year and a clock and everything. But like, I don't really see it as like, this is this year. And then at midnight, we have this whole new chapter. Like it kind of is, but at the same time, it's like time is just on this endless continuum. And I try to see it without labels of months. And I kind of feel like that takes some pressure off of segmenting your life, and you're just kind of existing like within the moment, I guess. And yeah, there's goals for next year, you know, like you said, with Barkley and Western States and Hellgate and stuff. But I'm trying not to even really think about them, because I'm just trying to think about talking to you guys right now, because like this is it. There's like nothing else.
So is this all? This is awesome. Just how much that that permeates your mindset in terms of that disposition or that existence system. I don't know if belief system is the right word, but it's awesome. I think that earlier we just had a Facebook dialogue, but even being in the moment with you here, it's wonderful to see that also be so consistent in your who you are. So do you think that was just always there, or how much work did it take in terms of
It was not always there. Yeah, like I'm not gonna rattle on until midnight about how it wasn't always there, but you know, we're all on a journey, and my journey on this, my life took an extreme pivot from the direction it was going in like 3-4 years ago. And when you hit a rock bottom and then realize it's not actually the rock bottom, that you're still falling, and then you hit the rock bottom, you know, you have decisions to make of how you're going to like rebuild your life and what your North Star is going to be, and the type of high road you're going to exist on. And, you know, I did a lot of, you know, soul searching and spent more time in the woods, read books like Man's Search for Meaning, the Viktor Frankl book. Did a lot more journaling. I've been keeping a journal since like the late 90s, but I kind of got way back into journaling. And I think it was just the accountability every day of journaling, meditating, working on myself, trying to be the best version of myself, and rebuilding my life. That it's just kind of this slow accumulation. It's not like an overnight thing.
And so for that journal helping you to be in the moment, like, do you look back at the journal? Or it's like, that's kind of in the past. This is helping me to focus in the present as I'm writing, and what's past is past.
Yeah, it's a way to process things, to get out of your monkey mind. And it kind of creates this kind of like cadence for your thought process, and helps you step out of the kind of your mind for a second. And something about handwriting too. It's kind of meditative. Sometimes I'll go back and I'll read stuff from like a decade ago and just be like, wow, like what was even, I don't even understand what was happening.
That's good.
But yeah, it's good. If I was like, yeah, that's still what things are like, then that'd be a big red flag. So.
Well, that's awesome, and especially how applicable this is for what you're all doing. I mean, all four of you are doing really physically and mentally hard things, and I think for some people it becomes you look for the escape mechanisms, at least mentally. I mean, you want to hold on to taking yourself to a different place, or to happy thoughts, or to whatever. But for better or worse, no, yeah, you're shaking your head. You're like, no, that's crazy talk. Like, you embrace the moment, and to what you said in the message, like I forget what you said. There's like no me, or there's no pain, or there's something to that effect.
Yeah, is my mantra, like during Hellgate or any race, is like, no time, just now, no attachment, no self. And it kind of just kind of repeat that over and over and over until you're done with the race. So.
Awesome. All right, and then Rachel.
I don't know if I can top that answer.
I know that takes right, because that upends like a lot of things, right? I mean, it's like
all those mindful vibes are like coming towards me.
Rachel, stay present. Stay present. Rachel.
I know.
You got this.
I try so hard.
You're doing it.
I guess I have a lot to be grateful for in 2021. I mean, kind of like Michael said, any opportunity that I've been to race or run, or just like be able to be out there and doing that. I really started trail running in like 2020. I mean, I did my first 2 ultras, and then everything kind of got put on pause. So until Hellgate in 2021. So it was really exciting to have like a full race experience this year. Meet a lot of people, experience a lot of new trails. I'm really just excited to keep going. I'm grateful that I haven't gotten injured, and so I'm just excited to keep experiencing it all, see how different ways I can push my body, and all that. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. How about and again, this is that because the paradigm is now upended when I get back over to Michael, or how we're even thinking about it now. But Gene, give me your happy place in moment, or in location, or the fusion thereof. And it can be a specific place and time from this past year, or just like on a daily basis.
Well, it's funny. I've been married a long time, going on 40 years now, and my wife did the cooking most of the time, but I retired 8 years ago, and I thought I would not like cooking, but I thought it was my duty to take over the cooking duties. And now 3 or 4 o'clock rolls around, and I think it's time to get dinner on the table, and that really makes me happy. I mean, I really enjoy doing that. You know, it's a couple hours there between whatever I was doing during the day and relaxing at night. And my wife comes home, and there's a good meal there. Well, all I really have to do is put out a good glass of wine, and it's a winning dinner. But that gives me a lot of satisfaction, and I'm looking forward to doing that 40 more years.
Cool. Pollyann?
Yeah, like I guess my favorite trail is kind of a mix between Kanawha State Forest and Charleston, West Virginia, and then I kind of like getting out into Fayetteville. Fayetteville's where Rump River is, so Caleb and I like to explore it throughout the year. It's really fantastic. But other than trail racing. I just kind of like painting and poetry.
Cool. All right, Michael. So the answer may just be like, dude, I already told you, my happy place is right here in the moment. But same question for you.
Yeah, I mean, just being in the present moment. Yeah, I mean, there's preferences for what you might naturally. Their preferences, what you're like, your habitual mental grooves will like more easily resound with, right? So, as opposed to more difficult tasks. So yeah, like running in the woods or bushwhacking or like purposely getting lost in the woods. Like there is kind of this elation and excitement about that where you are more easily in tune. But maybe that's more fight or flight. Or for me, like building musical instruments, I also feel like hyper present as opposed to like if I'm like taking the trash out. Like I can be present, but it's not as like entertaining to me, I guess. So I don't know.
Careful, the slippery slope there with the. All right, Rachel.
I'm definitely happiest like when I'm just moving my body. So obviously that's running. I really look forward to like the weekend runs, especially with my fiance Logan. It's a really good time for us to like just spend time together and just kind of be in the moment, kind of like Michael was saying. I mean, being unattached to all the things that we have going on in life. So yeah, that's definitely where I'm most happy.
Cool. All right. Well, I didn't really have anything too set here in terms of agenda. I just wanted us to actually just free associate on the year and the year ahead, and just I don't know, hopefully have a bit of time to connect as we head in to the new year. So if there's anything else that would just seem fun to share or to share with the world or whatever as we head into, whether Michael likes it on the calendar or not, a new year tomorrow. Gene, is there anything you want to take us out with?
Well, I thank heavens every day that I'm retired and have the money to run. And to all you youngsters out there, that's something you should definitely aspire to. Because look, coming up next year, I've got a 100-miler in Norway, a bunch of track events in Finland, that stage race in Australia, and the London Marathon. So I travel overseas. I combine running and traveling, and you just can't go wrong if you have that as a goal going forward. Even if you have to give up running now so that you can run later, it's worth it.
Well, it makes me happy to see you, to talk to you, and to see your photos that you post of you truly living an amazing existence at the moment. So thank you for sharing and for being present and just always being open to connecting, and just for being who you are. Truly inspiring and incredible. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
All right. And I look forward to seeing you guys in a race one of these days.
Totally. All right, Holly Ann.
Yeah, I just want to know like what Gene has planned this year.
Well, go to ultrageezer.com.
Ultrageezer.
And I got my race schedule there. It's usually up to date.
Cool.
Kind of the same for Michael. Like I know you like on your other podcast, you've had your instruments in the background, and now I can kind of see the medals and stuff. Like, I guess, what does your 2022 look like?
I don't know. Time will tell. Things will unfold as they will.
Are you sure you're not Native American with your Tom concepts?
I mean, I was born in America, so I guess I am in a cheesy way. And I do like hunting for arrowheads. Where I grew up, in our llama field, after it rained, we'd go out and find arrowheads. It's awesome. I don't know if that was the question. I don't think
It doesn't matter. It's awesome that you just shared you grew up with a llama field.
Llama fields, yeah.
I didn't grow up in the llama field. The llama field was next to the house.
That was perfect. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
that'd be weird if I was whipping them off.
No, it wouldn't be weird actually, based on the it would start to make more sense. Yeah.
It's the biggest piece of the puzzle.
There it is. Cool. Michael, anything that you want to add into the equation to kind of take us out for the evening? No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. I think it's good. Like, yeah, I think it's good to reflect on where you've been and where you think you want to be going, and just kind of checking in with yourself, like checking in with like, what is my North Star like in life, and like, what does living on the high road mean to me, and just kind of like just checking in with yourself, because I feel like we don't check in with ourselves enough in that kind of way. And I think it's if we're looking for some type of symbolism at this time of year, like it's a good excuse to do that, you know.
Cool. And Rachel? And feel free, Logan, I know he's still there, so he's welcome to join in as well. But Rachel?
Don't tempt. But no, I just want to thank, you for giving us, for giving runners in general a platform to reflect and just connect tonight and then all throughout the year as well. So I think it's really good for the trail running community. I mean, we're all from different parts, so it's nice to see people come together.
For sure. Yeah. And I guess that's something that I wanted it to be. I chose the slogan. I don't use it all that much, but the connected by trails. I feel like because there's just so much polarization. So a couple of years ago, I ran for Congress in the 2018 congressional election. And one of the kind of points of connection was where I felt like it was applicable, and what's very much needed is us having and finding and celebrating just points of connection. So I feel like regardless of where people are coming from, we share the experience in the place, and that makes us a lot, I think, closer than it is apart. And then you have all these other, I feel like, artificial wedges that are driven between, whether it be the artificial or kind of stoked ideological differences, or the whatever kind of flames that fire. I feel like we're really, when it comes down to it, so connected, and we just really need to celebrate and remain focused on the things that really bring us together. So that was kind of the mission. And I thank you for being a part of that, and for taking your time out after races to provide clips and just for pursuing your own passion. So thank you for being a part of it.
Yeah, we love it. So keep it up.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you all for taking some time out of your nights tonight. I hope you have a wonderful night from here, and I'm really looking forward to connecting with all of you in the days and nights ahead.
Great.
Thanks for having us.
All right.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Happy New Year, all.
Bye.
New Year. All right, so to all those still with us out there, thank you so much for tuning in to round 2 of the Trails Collective New Year's Eve live episode. Really just an opportunity to, again, hopefully bring us together, to enjoy the time together that's beyond just the miles out there on trails, and just to celebrate the community that is. So in case my family or any parts of it are still watching, I will be home shortly to bring in this new year with you. And for all those of you who will support and be present with the Trails Collective in 2022, thank you for your support in so many ways. All right. Happy New Year, all. See ya.